What's up? Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. How the heck is everyone doing? Just get some wubs in your system. Welcome, folks. Welcome. Let me just open a couple of things. We are back on TikTok as well. We are back on TikTok. Oh, feels great.
Something.
How the heck are we, everybody? Hey, cups of tea. How are you? Cass. Kia ora. Kia ora, folks. Welcome. Kia ora, everybody. Hey, Calamity. Still here. That's good. Well, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Hey, Street Smarts. Welcome. Our TikTok suspension has been lifted, so we're back on TikTok now. Oh yeah, we're back on TikTok now, and it's great. Life is good. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Lemon Poppy, welcome. Wagwan! Yes! How are we? How are you, S? Oh, beautiful. Wait. We gotta play some You're feeling overwhelmed? What's happened? Just the news? Is it the news? Oh dear. How was that? Woo! Oh, thank you, cups of tea. Wow. And the world feels heavy. Well, there you go. Some Cowboy Bebop vibes. Are you going to make us listen to Trump? Oh, yeah. We're going to hear all about China. We're going to hear about them China. Woo! Side news, Ontario's on fire. Pretty sure it's man-made for the pipelines. Oh, shit. Oh, gosh. Ontario. Dude, this was an amazing little thing. He's destroying our country. We're going to need Cletus breaks. Yes, we are. Today's going to be... We're going to have a few little Cletus breaks. Salam, Jujus. Apparently, if you donated to any blue cause, he's going to investigate you. Let's go! Let's get investigated. Okay, from now on, anytime there's bad news, we're just going to celebrate and say, especially when it comes to like censorship, we're just going to like celebrate, okay? So like this. Woo! We're all getting investigated, everybody! Woo! They're gonna get put in jail. Because the world would much rather jail those fighting against genocide than those complicit in it. The world would much rather jail the people investigating the Epstein files than the pedos in the files. Woo! Woo! You see, the world doesn't have to be so bad. Let's just celebrate how shit it is. Because it's dire, isn't it? Yo, CHINAAA! Welcome in, everybody. If I stop showing up, it may be because the fascists got to me. Got me. Blink twice, Cass. Blink twice. Yo, Rebel. What Trump was saying, China, he was talking about them biolabs in Ukraine that made COVID. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, bro. Those biolabs in Ukraine. The idiot just paid, what's her name? The lady he graped. He paid her $5-point-something million. Do you believe anything that comes out of this guy's mouth? Gosh, dang it. Yeah. Yo, Beth. Everyone, the world's a shitty place. Woo! You got it, Jujus. You got it. Okay. Morning, Shabs. Welcome in, everybody. You're hoping he gets explosive diarrhea from eating Maccas? What is with this explosive diarrhea epidemic in Ohio? Is it in Ohio? What's going on? Are people just like shitting everywhere? Like it's pretty bad, isn't it? It's just shit in Ohio. Michigan too? It's everywhere? It's allegedly the lettuce? My mom got it recently. I ate the same food here in Texas. Oh, shit! It's in Illinois too? Woo! I ate the lettuce, bro. Not even joking. I ate the lettuce, bro. Not even joking. Apparently, Doge. No way. Apparently, Doge cut the monitoring service for that and many other bugs. Did you guys ever listen to Eddie Murphy's Raw? And he's talking about HIV and he talks about like STDs are going to be so bad one day that your dick is just going to explode. I feel like we're close. I feel like we're close to dick explosion levels. I feel like we're almost there. biological warfare. It's like Russian roulette with our produce. Woo! Welcome in, everybody. They're just throwing shit at us, literally. Fire. He said, "No, dog. Fire shoot out of my dick." No, dog. Fire shoot out of my dick. Okay, if you weren't here yesterday, this is I can't pee in my house. I'll burn my house down. Oh, stop. We can't start off this hot. Oh, shit. Oh, my gosh. Hold on. If you weren't here yesterday, we kind of were lamowing about this.
If anything, if there's any punishment...
Should we talk about the Falklands?
They have...
Don't cry for them, Argentina!
I'm sorry about that.
The truth is...
There's been a lot of fans who've had a lot of alcohol today and spent an awful lot of their money to get...
So that was on Sky News. That was on Sky News. Some bloke, just lampshaded, walks up to this lady and just nonchalant. Shall we talk about the Falklands?
If anything, if there's any punishment...
Should we talk about the Falklands?
They have...
Don't cry for them, Argentina!
I'm sorry about that.
The truth is...
There's been a lot of fans who've had a lot of alcohol today and spent an awful lot of their money to get... If anything...
My brother is the CEO of Air New Zealand. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Whoo-wee. Okay. Thank you for reminding me, Amir. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. Woo! All right. Now we're going to listen to the Orange Menace. Okay? He's coming for us, folks. He's coming for us. Hook me up with cheap flights, broski. Bro, I don't even get hooked up with cheap flights. Like I said, we don't have a great relationship. Okay, anyway. Woo! Okay. Let's get into it. Breaking news. Trump takes square aim at China in national address about election integrity. Okay, number one, I think he's trying to deflect from this.
Reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay, he is definitely still trying to distract from this.
Reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
You know what Trump can do?
He should kiss my ass.
Well done, my boy.
देखा मैंने कितना अच्छा डांस करता है?
All right, folks. We're back.
I want to be a good boy.
We're about to hear some Trump. Merkel. God damn it. We're about to get some Trump in our system, folks. Get yourselves ready. Yeehaw. Woo. Yee. We're about to get our bold stand and listen to Donald Trump. Yeah. Hoorah. Cletus! Get the fuck off your cousin! That goddamn Cletus just always touching his cousin. God damn it. Okay. All right. Trump. You gonna speak, bro?
Good evening. Before we begin,
Oh shit, that throat sounds like bloke is enriching some uranium in there.
proud to report that our country is safer, stronger, and far wealthier than it has ever
Marie.
been before. We are doing great. Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types.
You see what I told you? Them criminals, them blacks and browns, they be invading. God damn it. They're invading. Those blacks and browns, folks. Get them out of this country. Get them out. I don't want no Arabs. I don't want no Indians. I don't want no Afrikaners. Get them out. I don't want no Irakistanis. God damn it. I just want them good old white honkies. You hear me?
And 11,888 murders, many of
Yes, Afrikaners are white. that was the point, Rhyme. Like, do you think Cletus's father will know the difference? No.
whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody, men and
Transgender for everybody. Let's go. Woo! Transgender for you. Transgender for me. Yes.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate.
Fool me once. Shame on you. It fooled me. We can't get fooled.
So there we are. Women's sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole
Transgender crime? Like, is he talking about transgenderism still, or is it just transgender crime now?
world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Yeah, folks. We're the hottest country. We're now testing testosterone in our boys. Yeah. Our warfighters are gonna have their balls squeezed for testosterone. God damn it. We gonna tan them balls and grab them by the hormussy. God damn it.
America is respected like we have never been respected before. We have more money being invested in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. More Americans are working today than ever before. This week it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The media reported it, and we accept it. The best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars, like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime.
No tax on just the tip.
And no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, along with the interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America, and a 100% expensing for our job-creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time. And your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price.
Do you feel that love? Jesus Christ is coming.
For prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nations policy because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly.
How did you fuck it up this bad, America? Honestly. Hey, Apothecary, welcome. How did you do it? You know? How did you build a country like this? That you just go around fucking everything up?
Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80, and 90%. TrumpRx.gov, this will ultimately reduce the cost of health care. You have to go to TrumpRx.gov and take advantage of it. But the cost of health care is coming way down because of what we've done with prescription drugs. And with Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account to save for their future. Billions and billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18, they...
Melanie's like, I will not use anything you recommend, motherfucker. Straight up. Yo! That is like visceral, man.
They will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to a great start in life. So for that, go to TrumpAccounts.gov and sign up your child or any child who'd like to sign up.
Don't sign up your child on any Donald Trump website, okay? Don't do it.
Our
Please.
previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with zero illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is zero. Nobody thought it was possible. We had the worst border in the history of our country, and now we have the best. Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the
murder rate's decreasing, folks. Our goddamn murder rate is so low. You know why? Because now just police and ICE just shooting everybody. That ain't murder. That's the law. God damn it. That's the law.
The strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in
Sorry, can you guys tell me how many barrels again?
Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness.
The hottest country right now. Hey, Tosco, how are you?
For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure.
Oh, shit. Declassification? Are we going to look at the election files as well?
This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes and really exposes like levels never thought possible to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this...
It shows Russia was involved more. We want more Epstein files. We want more Epstein files. By the way, folks, if you don't know, well, now you know, okay? Epstein files. Epstein files, everybody. Epstein files. Okay, I have an update on the platform. I haven't been on TikTok in a couple of days, but here's an update about the about Lasso Trace, the platform. We now have 1.38 million documents loaded into the platform. 1.38 million. We have every single Epstein document loaded into our platform, our community platform. Every single document that has been released so far. So if you want to get on the investigation team, get the F on our Discord. Get in there like swimwear, and let's start forming groups. Let's start looking at the files. We're going to be looking at some today, a bit later. We're going to be looking at a few later, and we'll go through some images. But just remember, folks, before that next Epstein files data dump has been dumped, we need to go through and do as much as possible with the files we have so far. This platform gives you all of the tools you need. You have every single tool that you need in this platform. Okay? So we're going to go through, I'll just show you quickly a couple. So every document, all the text has been removed out of the document and stored in the database. So the PDF files have been processed in a way where text has been extracted, stored in the database. There's 3.8 million of those files, okay? Or I think it's 3.8. Oh, sorry, no, 1.38 million of those files where text has been extracted, stored in the database. Now, you can investigate. Yo, Mike, welcome. This guy lifted sanctions on Russia to keep oil prices down while depleting the reserves. Turkey's still selling gold because it already. So from here, we can attach evidence, we can review evidence, we can do all sorts of stuff. But the great thing now is we have the ability to create our own links. So each user will be able to create their own links. They can connect their own dots, and all of this will be saved in a database so that it's not like a Miro board where everything just plopped on a page. You can even search through all of this. So we have a platform to scale up the Epstein files research. So join the Discord, go to Epstein Stuff channel, and request access to this platform, okay? Do it. But later on, we're going to go through some files. Later on. I'll showcase some of these tools to you a bit later.
So there we are.
Vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board.
By the way, if you guys want to like if you want to do an investigation of these files as well, we can set up a new case and investigate these files too. I just want you to understand this platform is an investigation platform, a community-based investigation platform. We can investigate anything, especially document dump investigations like this. It's all ready to go. So we can 100% add this on as well. But let's start with the Epstein files, please. Get in.
Supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings, we are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly
Moo, I've approved your access. Once you finish your onboarding, you'll be granted contributor access. So finish your onboarding. It just gives you a really high level of what's on the platform. It's really quick, and you can start editing after that. You can start contributing after that.
What was happening.
It happens
this
automatically.
This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China has signed a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters.
Tens of billions and trillions of voter data.
They don't know what the they're doing.
Data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country. A standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say.
According to the docs he released, China targeted Biden and don't intend to interfere further. What the heck?
The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. they did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot when actually...
Yeah, guys, whenever you listen to Trump talk, we've said this before. He's not talking to people like you and me. He's talking to his base. He's talking to Cletus. Okay? Cletus! Get my goddamn sponge bath ready! Your mother has the sponge! Get my sponge bath ready, goddammit!
Actually, your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence...
Shiny, you have 190 stream streak? Holy shit, Shiny. You're almost at 200.
U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America.
Oh, Monica,
the Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them.
How long ago did I start streaming? Oh, bro, we've been streaming since, I'd say Jan 2024. I started streaming to speak with people on the ground in Gaza. We've spoken to hundreds and hundreds of Palestinians on the ground in Gaza. Like, that's how this whole stream started. Was we spent like a year and a half to 2 years speaking to people on the ground in Gaza. And then now, you know, we're doing news all over the world, covering injustices all over the world. No, I wasn't in Palestine. We just had people in Palestine joining our lives and speaking with us.
Charge them billions and billions of dollars worth.
And we would raise money, etc.
Of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world.
My low frequency by 1 dB. I don't know how to do that.
These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese
That they deliberately what? Excuse me? Excuse me?
activities related to the
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Indeed, I did have a relationship with Ms. Lewinsky that was not appropriate.
election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe
he can't do a speech without crapping on Obama. Burn bags from Obama. Wait, this guy's so out the gate, bro. Holy shit. He just says some shit, man.
Maybe we got lucky.
Oh my God.
We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that was supposed to burn the bags. But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning.
Oh,
the third set,
like book burning, like the Nazis?
Of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems. Dishonest, almost all.
Oh, it's a movie?
They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised, and people within our government knew that.
Do they use lighter fluid to burn the bags? Oh man, this guy is so out the gate. Trump is just not saying
that. Tonight we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports proving that our government has long known these machines are extremely exposed to attack. As one assessment states, we judge that the United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote.
Jenny, but what if you can't fit it in the bag?
But that's some statement, isn't it? Made by supposedly great patriots of our country. The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized election-related data repositories, such as voter registration.
Oh my God, he said repositories? Oh, I know it would be like putting Donald Trump's ass in the Ziploc bag. The visceral like hate when you hear Trump's voice from like the chat is just next level, bro.
Databases, poll books, and other official election websites are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States of America. Tonight, we're releasing all of those findings and spanning from January 2020 to June 2026. This is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained.
Did you notice he was legit oranger tonight? Yeah, I mean, I think someone's put the bronzer on.
Reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020. And that's what they did. This reporting included precise details.
But the same regime is in place. Hey, Carrie. Like, they didn't change the regime. It's the same fucking regime.
About methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could.
He really needs to stop saying digitally, because when Trump says it, it just feels like he doesn't mean what it's supposed to mean, you know?
Could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up.
Okay, I've just been thinking about this again. I need to watch this again.
If anything, if there's any punishment,
Should we talk about the Falklands?
they have.
Don't cry for them, Argentina.
I'm sorry about that.
The truth is,
There's been a lot of fans who've had a lot of alcohol today and spent an awful lot of their money to get. If anything, if there's any
should we
punishment,
talk about the Falklands?
they have.
Don't cry for them, Argentina.
Literally just walks up. He was thinking about that the whole time, man. Oh my goodness. Someone said so. Oh, someone's got bin face as their. Oh, Lisa, you got bin face as your profile picture. Captain Bin Face. Amazing.
Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan. In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon. And we're so concerned
Is that how you say that, Muskegon? Because it just sounds like he said it wrong.
by what they found. They were just so concerned. They couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on the case believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute.
What's the game plan? Well, I think we're here.
If anything, if there's any punishment,
Should we talk about the Falklands?
they have.
Don't cry for them, Argentina.
Gifts up.
I'm sorry about that.
Sharing is caring.
Prosecute those responsible for any.
Oh, gift sub. Thank you so much. T minus. Thank you so much for the gift sub.
So there we are.
X1011. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is.
What? Bully Buster, do you support this guy?
Hey, bro. Hi. 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 Are you okay?
Yes, what are you watching?
We're watching Donald Trump. He's giving speeches.
Dada?
Yes, my love.
I got 3 Spider-Mans.
3?
Yeah. Actually 4.
4 Spider-Man.
1 displayed.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
I love ya.
Love ya.
Good night.
It's not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has been buried. Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people are listed and active on the voter rolls, and yet we still have elections with no voter ID, no proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of LA and governor was held on June 2nd, a long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. Took a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing. This is worse than any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is, and they don't want...
Oh, shit. News outlets didn't cover this? Why didn't they cover this? Wait, I can guess. Should not be laughable. I'm a veteran who takes my country seriously. Yeah, you should probably be in jail if you're a vet in America. Like, how many war crimes have you committed?
Want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting.
Pipe installer in Aotearoa.
They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets.
None. I defended freedom. Oh, he definitely committed some war crimes then. Defended freedom. What a tool. What a douche nozzle.
Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue.
Bro, voluntarily going and shooting brown children isn't the flex you think it is, buddy.
American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan.
T-minus,
really,
thank you so much.
We should be
thank you for the resub.
Together.
5 months
Democrats,
T-minus.
Republicans, Independents, everybody. And it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. This should be a cause. We should be united.
I'm one of those anti-Americans. Anti-American imperialism. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Something I moved. Bro, I don't live in America. I don't care about your country. I don't live in America. I don't. America sucks. Okay? Your constitution is a lie. Your constitution only applies to white people. Your constitution is a fucking lie.
Not divided. In light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight my administration
Jenny.
is in the process
Thank you.
of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action.
Fucking Americans will come onto some other person's live and be like, oh, yeah, America, baby. Oh, goddamn America. Land of the free. Home of the gays. I mean, home of the brave. God damn it. Racist against America? Bro, America isn't a race, you stupid. Guys, this is like the 5th time I've been called racist against America. God dang! Yee-hoo! Yee-hoo! Yo-yo! America, baby! Cletus! Cletus! Get your sniper rifle! We're about to fly to Iraqistan and shoot some brown children! Yo! Yo, yo! Get the hell out of my chat, bro.
Action to ensure that sensitive voter data is better protected so we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our...
Edwin, it's not like, you do realize there's like there's an epidemic of people shitting themselves in the US at the moment, right? Bro, go clean your ass.
Electronic voting systems, they are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues in their states. If you look at voting today, it's in such bad shape in so many states, and we are committing to fix it. And we're also committing to be working with those states and local jurisdictions.
Oh yeah, let's not forget the measles as well. America, baby! Woo! Woo woo!
To help them fix and patch known technical vulnerabilities before the midterm elections. We have very important elections coming up. We want those elections to be honest. I've also ordered DHS to notify every state about non-citizens on their voter rolls and direct them to remove all ineligible voters from the lists immediately. But most importantly, addressing this crisis of election security demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy is that?
Wash your unclean rear end, filthy folks.
To do unless you want to cheat. The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away or can't get elected any other way. This landmark bill requires that all voters must show photo voter ID. How simple is that? Could I have your photo, please? Photo voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Are you a citizen of our country, please? And hopefully there will be no corrupt mail-in ballots, which if you watched California and so many other places...
The sound of his voice makes you want to be permanently deaf. Yeah. I don't, it's either these people, the people who come in and act like America is this, great place. People who don't understand the history of America or don't understand how America works. It's like, it's the worst fucking thing. These people are, these people, why do you listen, bro? If America stops blowing up children in other places and stops fucking putting its dirty fingers in everyone else's food, then yeah, I'll stop fucking paying attention. Until you keep getting your dick wet in like the Strait of Hormuz, you should expect criticism.
Mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt, so you would have no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment or travel if you're going away on business or vacation. These reforms are urgently needed to stop the vulnerabilities that I've mentioned. To all Americans, I ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate.
Who are you to judge? You're in my life. You came to my space. You're doing the most American thing anyone can do, is go into someone else's space and tell them how to behave. You are, in fact, the problem with America.
And demand that they pass the Save America Act without delay. Together we will restore faith and confidence in our country, and we will be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our great military, and God bless America. Thank you. Reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh, bro. Americans, man. Honestly, you got to talk to people like this idiot. You got to talk to people like that idiot and just go, hey, actually, that behavior, you know, that shit you do about telling people how to behave, you need to stop doing that, bro. Shut the fuck up, you know? He so knows he is going to lose. Yeah. He's just distracting everybody, you know? He's just distracting from the absolute disaster that the Strait of Hormuz is, and he's distracting from the Epstein files, both of which we're not going to get distracted from.
So there we
PBS News live streaming coverage of President Trump's primetime address tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on our website, with context and real-time fact-checking from our partners at PolitiFact. That's at pbsnews.org/newshour.
So this is PBS. Trump setting the stage to declare emergency around midterms. Former White House attorney says, oh, damn.
Now, for perspective on what the president is trying to achieve with tonight's speech, the limits of his authority, and the potential consequences for future elections, we turn now to Ty Cobb, an attorney who served as the special counsel during the first Trump administration. I spoke with him a short time ago. Ty Cobb, welcome back to the NewsHour.
My pleasure. Nice to be with you, Jeff.
Ty, you have described a broader pattern here. President Trump's focus on voting machines, his efforts to
consider what I'm doing. I just think revealing the corruption and evil nature of American imperialism is God's work. So I'm considering it, buddy.
Change mail-in voting, voter registration requirements, most recently his removal of members of the Election Assistance Commission. What does tonight's speech add to that picture? Bro, you're in someone else's chat. Swipe a couple of times. I think the Nazi chat is in the other one. Go. The Nazi chat's a couple of swipes away, buddy. Get the fuck out if you don't want to be here.
Well, I think tonight's speech is intended to add the predicate that he needs to declare an emergency at or about the time of the elections. As you know, Steve Bannon and Todd Blanche have suggested that there will be ICE agents at the polls. I think that that's a virtual certainty. Whether that will include the National Guard or not, we don't know. But anything to intimidate minority voters, particularly immigrant voters, and also I think anything that allows them to, try to seize voting machines, as Trump wanted to do in 2020, but Bill Barr explained to him there was just no basis for it. I think you will see him doing everything he can to try to prevent the peaceful transfer of power, the election of Democrats, and do whatever he can to remain in power and to keep his cronies in power, so that he can continue doing what he thinks he's allowed to do as president, which is anything he wants.
President Trump has said in the past that he believes if Democrats win control of Congress in the midterms, that he'll be impeached.
Hey, Nadia,
when you
welcome.
say that you believe he's intent on declaring a national emergency, what guardrails
is this guy's name? Ty Cobb, is it?
Remain if the president does, in fact, use the power of the federal government to shape how the midterm elections are conducted?
I think the only real guardrail is, for people to get to the polls, to vote against the level of corruption.
Absolutely not, Christopher.
And insanity and frivolity that we've seen, the type of conduct that has made the world more dangerous, and that has enriched President Trump to the tune of somewhere between $4 and $8 billion during the time he's been in office. We know he made $2.2 billion last year, largely on crypto. We know that his stock trades.
Oh, bro, poor fucking Americans. What are you going through, bro? You should ask what the people in Gaza are going through because of your bombs, your genocide, Christopher. That's your genocide, buddy. I don't give a shit what you're going through.
He had hundreds of stock trades last year, if not thousands.
Hey, Doug.
I think Obama had 0. Biden had 13 by comparison. And many of those stock trades were followed by statements from Trump touting the products of the companies that he had bought or giving them government contracts. So what we have seen is so...
Yeah, man. These I think America is like victimizing itself more than like Palestinians. Like Palestinians are the real victims in all of this. They're being genocided. Sudanese people are being genocided. And here are Americans going, oh, I don't know what. A white guy too. White American dude going, oh, you don't know what we're going through.
Inimical to what it has historically meant to be an American president, where integrity, courage, straightforwardness, and an interest in the lives of the people that are being governed were at the front and center. We have a president now who's there solely to enrich himself, his family, and his cronies, and to wield power in a way that satisfies his basest instincts. We need people to come out and vote against that. That is the guardrail. Internally, unlike the first administration, when you had people like General Kelly, General Mattis, Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, people of character who would hold up their hand when Trump wanted to do something reckless or self-dealing. We don't have that now. I mean, we have the Stephen Millers of the world, the Todd Blanches, whose mantra is "I love you." This is
right now the biggest thing, right? I actually worry about this a lot, and that is this narrative of Zionists control the world / Jews control the world is being pushed by right-wing America. A lot of Americans push this, a lot of Europeans too, right? And I think people overstate how much Zionism controls the world, but I think it makes Americans, especially right-wing Americans who are currently playing the victim, it makes them feel like the victim. They want to be the victim. They want to be the victim of some outside force doing something to them. But in America, American imperialism is what's doing everything to you. Like fascist dudes, right-wingers. America isn't the victim. America is the perpetrator. Like you understand that dynamic, right? Europe isn't the victim. Europe is the perpetrator and has been for hundreds of years. Like, you guys aren't the fucking victim. You have all of the privilege.
You, sir, I'm your lawyer, who has overseen revenge prosecutions, the hollowing out of 20% of the lawyers in the Department of Justice, most of the most experienced and talented lawyers who were in leadership positions, they're gone now, and we've redirected FBI and DOJ resources under Blanche and Patel to immigration.
American Indians, your indigenous people, are the victims of white supremacy. In Aotearoa, New Zealand, our Maori people here are the victims of white supremacy. But Christopher, you as a white male, you're not a victim, bro.
Cases to the exclusion of counterterrorism cases.
And black people. Yes, exactly, Kari. Absolutely.
Money laundering cases, fraud, and civil rights. So I think we need people to come out and vote against it. That's the best guardrail we have, and that's the only remaining guardrail in our democracy.
And yet, if there were genuine vulnerabilities in voting machines or attempts by China to interfere?
I did not vote for this. Yeah, but you voted for Joe Biden. I'm pretty sure you voted Joe Biden, who committed genocide in Gaza. Like, what are you talking about? This is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem with America. It doesn't matter if you vote blue or red. American imperialism is fucking up the world.
Fear, those would be major national security concerns. How should a president responsibly address those concerns without using them to undermine confidence in an election that has already been settled?
Well, I think when you say those concerns, I mean, those concerns are inflated, overrated, and exaggerated. There is evidence historically that China and Russia, had some influence.
You didn't vote for either one. Yeah, I mean, the thing, America, isn't, I don't think it's prudent for you to be there going, it's not my fault. I think for Americans to truly, find it in themselves to change America, you've got to first start acknowledging that you are in a system that continues to take from you in order to cause harm and mass violence around the world. Once you acknowledge that, you'll understand that you are in this system, and the only way to change that system is to start to form community level movements and start to organize at a community level and make real local change. But it's just always this 4-year fucking thing with you guys. It's like, oh, let's wait for the midterms and then something may change. And then let's wait for 4 years. Something may change. It's like, bro, it's the same shit. It's the same shit every time. 4 years, 2 years. If you're waiting for an election, what the heck? My live access got removed again? Oh my gosh. TikTok, bro. Unbelievable. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Peddlers that Iran and Venezuela have, that we do this around the world as
well.
Yeah,
they reported me.
Trying to influence people in public opinion. But on the voting machines, that's been looked at. And frankly, when Fox tried to support Trump's wild claims about abuse of voting machines in 2020, it cost them almost $1 billion, $787 million that they had to pay out, for fraudulently supporting Trump's unfounded claims. And we're going to see that again. Trump's going to make more unfounded claims. The intelligence that comes into the CIA and the FBI is always graded. Some of it's good. Some of it comes from reliable sources. Some of it arises under circumstances that have some credibility. None of the stuff that we're going to hear tonight is that, and particularly the Venezuela stuff. I mean, he's going to use Maduro, probably fabricate a statement of facts, to support a guilty plea from Maduro, which will later be followed by the type of Ghislaine Maxwell treatment where he gets favorable treatment in exchange for doing what the administration wants. I think people need to see through this, and you're not going to see.
Divided in light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight. My administration is in the process of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action.
Fucking Americans will come onto some other person's live and be like, oh, yeah, America, baby. Oh, goddamn America, land of the free, home of the gays, home of the brave. God damn it.
Oh my gosh.
Racist against America? Bro, America isn't a race, you stupid. Guys, this is like the 5th time I've been called racist against America. God dang! Yee-hoo!
Yeah. That's what they reported me for.
Reliable people, people historically who have the respect of the American people, the intellectuals, the historians, the journalists. You're going to see people that of the type of Bill Pulte and John Solomon, who have been conspiracy theorists from the start, who are willing to do whatever Trump asks, supporting these claims. But you're not going to see many credible people do this. And
I literally got a ban for satire, bro. What the fuck is this?
And I think people need to, when you talk about serious claims, I think the serious is the flaw in that statement, because they aren't serious. This is unserious. This is Trump, acting out his fantasy and trying desperately to push his minions to help him pretend, as he has rewritten history over January 6th, as he has rewritten history about the 2020 election, to go along with him.
Like, why is that hate speech? It's stating a fact. There's no American race. Oh gosh, you can't just call me racist. And bro, if that's the reason, it's crazy. Oh my gosh, if that's the reason, it's insane. Okay, let's just keep going. It doesn't matter. We'll see. I've appealed it. We'll see. Typical American. Yeah.
How serious is Iran's threat to disrupt shipping in the Red Sea? After the Strait of Hormuz, the Revolutionary Guard says the Bab el-Mandeb Strait could be next. How far would Iran's allies in Yemen go to support it? And what would a disruption in Bab el-Mandeb mean for the global economy? This is Inside Story.
Hey, Manda, welcome.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Sami Zaidan. Some call it the Gate of Tears.
Good morning. Canada is on fire and I'm awash in the smoke. Oh my gosh. Really? No way. Oh, that sucks.
Bab el-Mandeb in the Red
safe.
Sea wields importance as a global shipping artery. Well, this week, Iran's Revolutionary Guard threatened to use the strait as its next front in the war with the US. It says regional energy exports are either for
Ultra
everyone
Supernova 1 2 3 4.
or
Hello.
no one at all. Well, such a move would mean
The smoke
relying
is
on its
bad.
Houthi allies in Yemen to block the shipping route.
Hey, so this is in where is this? This is in Ontario, right? It's in Ontario. Let's just check. This is the
As dozens of wildfires continue burning out of control in northwestern Ontario, it's believed that some communities have already been destroyed. We know that many people had to self-evacuate on a moment's notice as the provincial government calls the situation rapidly evolving. Video captures a family fleeing a wall.
That's apocalyptic. Oh my goodness, that is apocalyptic.
Of flames burning on Collins First Nation after conditions rapidly intensified. This is one of 9 communities in northwestern Ontario under mandatory evacuation orders as dozens of wildfires burn out of control.
I was so sad for them because they had to evacuate themselves by boat, and because there was nobody to help them there.
MPP Sol Mamakwa's riding covers a swath of the fire zone, and he calls the situation urgent, telling me power outages are hampering communication, and many of these communities are remote.
We need more firefighting teams. We need more to move people in a very quick manner, such as to move if it's a flying First Nation. We need these bigger planes to be able to be moved quickly as possible, like a Hercules is, and some of our infrastructure, such as these.
What's this, Cass? Hey, this is New Zealand. What? No way. Are these all fires? Wow. Holy moly. Poor fragile little snowflakes here. I saw on clips today Americans blaming Canada for their air pollution at the moment due to the fires and telling them to fix it. No joke. Didn't Canada help them with their California fires recently? Yeah. Oh, America. America, America, America. America, baby. Oh my God. Appeal not approved? Why? Oh, man. Okay. I may just have to stop streaming on TikTok for a while. Because otherwise I'll just lose my whole account. I don't want to do that. Anyway. I'm near Detroit.
New follower detected.
New follower. Oh, Bronson, the director. Thank you for the follow. I thought Detroit always looked like that. In Eastern Ontario, and yesterday morning looked like I was in a Fallout game. Holy moly. This is crazy, guys. This is insane. Like, are people able to flee? Are people able to leave, or are they stuck? Do a snowflake friendly stream on TikTok once a month. Yeah. Yeah, TikTok is getting very fragile right now. I've got to be very careful with TikTok. Maybe if we suck more water out of the ground, AI will be able to figure out how to solve this mess. Good idea. Like, great idea. MTG was right. No, don't do the space laser thing. That's horrific. Don't do that. There's no such thing. She was just being extremely bigoted. Hassan's like, he will declassify anything but the Epstein files. Yo, did they ban you again, TikTok? Yeah, they did. It was like the craziest thing they banned me for too. So it doesn't matter. As a Jewish person, the Jewish space laser might be my favorite bit of racism. Yeah. Thank you, Cam. Welcome. Why they gotta make us seem like all powerful demons with insane technology? It's so funny. It's because they want to be the victim so bad. That's the thing. It's like white supremacy is all about. There's a saying, right? Like, white supremacy is so afraid of being the minority because they know what they did to minorities. They know how minorities are treated. So they feel like it'll happen to them. They feel like it'll happen to them. And that's like, that is the, I guess, that's where the fragility comes from, is the notion that it might happen to them.
These gravel runways that are 3,500 feet don't have the capacity to do that.
This harrowing video shows a CN rail train slowly moving through a raging inferno about 250 kilometers north of Thunder Bay in Armstrong, Ontario.
Okay, y'all need to hurry up here. Like, seriously, we're encased in flames.
City News has confirmed the crew is now safe and rail operations through that area are temporarily suspended. According to the province, several hundred highly trained Ontario wildland firefighters are on the ground and are being supported by nearly 40 aircraft, including helicopters and water bombers. The Ministry of Emergency Preparedness and Response tells City News that they are coordinating with impacted communities to ensure safe evacuation efforts, and many of those displaced by fire are now sheltering in Thunder Bay.
The hotels here are now full, so if you're heading here, turn around.
Matt Phillips was on a Great Lakes expedition sailing from St. Catharines to Thunder Bay to experience the stunning rock formation known as Sleeping Giant. He tells me the skies turned orange and ash fell like snow.
You know, it's making your fingers turn black and stinks really bad. It's unreal. We're here now in Dockton, Thunder Bay, and I'm seeing people walking and they have their masks on, and, you know, we've got our masks on, and this isn't how it was supposed to go.
As evacuation efforts continue, accommodations are running out in Thunder Bay. We're hearing that plans are underway to potentially.
So this was yesterday. What is it like today? What the hell is it like today?
Fly some people displaced by the fires to southern Ontario. Shauna Hunt, City News, Toronto.
Ooh, there's a new doco here. Still on fire.
Sometimes it's best to expect the unexpected.
When the Straits of Hormuz first closed,
800 fires? Oh my gosh. Look at this. Has this happened before? Is this just normal, or is this quite different to how it usually is? Not normal at all. It's wildfire season. More normal each year. It has happened before. The fire rises. So this is normal. There were fires of a similar severity 2 to 3 years back, but no, normal ain't the word I would use. I see. They get a lot of fires. Oh, man.
Everyone was in a panic, and it was the biggest crisis that many of us have seen in this generation.
There are thousands of vessels that are stuck.
Ships are still getting attacked.
They said they control.
On Katie Johnson? Who's Katie Johnson?
The Strait, they do not.
We heard from the International Energy Agency that this is the biggest oil supply crisis ever seen.
It is in the world's largest oil-producing region.
The Strait of Hormuz is responsible for 20 to 25% of the world's oil as well.
Reopening the Strait of Hormuz,
as gas, seaborne trade.
So we're talking about 20 million barrels per day.
It also meant that a lot of food supplies, fertilizers, and other essential commodities were stuck.
Ever since the Iranian Revolution in the 70s, the idea that Hormuz has been important has been known.
Through the Strait of Hormuz.
But it's always been a back burner issue.
Oil prices and shortages were expected to soar.
There is worry in the market that there is no end in sight.
That knock-on effect really is being felt.
People were really wondering how the world would cope with such a disruption.
Many of the banks were talking $150 a barrel, $200 a barrel.
But then, it didn't happen.
Markets barely blinked at some of the challenging headlines coming from the Middle East.
The market has been pretty resilient.
Although we did see prices top $126 a barrel, many of those worst fears were never materialized.
We saw the market adjust to the crisis in somewhat surprising ways. Price response actually shows how resilient markets can be.
So how was the biggest...
Katie Johnson was/is a woman who accused Trump and Epstein of abusing her when she was an early teenager. He has done his best to erase her, and many people believe they made her disappear. She relinquished her accusation against him following death threats. Oh, shit. Oh, my gosh.
Energy crisis in a generation so easily swallowed? And does this ability to cope mean the world has reached peak Hormuz? As a shipping route, the Strait of Hormuz is a tight fit. The word strait comes from the Latin strictus, as in drawn tight, almost constricted, which feels especially suitable here.
It's so funny, like there was a I saw a picture on X where people are like, why do they call it a strait? It's not even straight.
Its narrowest point is just 21 miles wide, which is barely 2 Manhattans worth of width.
Prior to the war, we were looking at around 120 to 130 commercial ship movements daily. 50% or so would be oil and gas vessels.
You'll remember a few years ago we had the Ever Given blockage through the Suez Canal, which also hit pretty much every commodity market, but the difference there is you can sail the long way around Africa. Hormuz is a true choke point.
The president's saying the strait is completely open. Is it in fact on this Saturday morning?
The information is quite fluid at present.
Mixed messages, this is the theme of 2026.
The stop and start nature of the war makes navigating the strait even more complicated. Logistical dangers and risks remain elevated.
One of the first reasons ship owners were cautious about sailing through Hormuz, even after the interim peace deal, was the presence of mines.
We are talking about really big oil tankers carrying hundreds of millions of dollars worth of oil. So ship owners and owners of these cargoes were very reluctant to expose their vessels to such risk.
It's one story getting ships out of Hormuz, it's another one getting them back in. Many owners will be keen to get their vessels and their crews out of harm's way, but they might think twice about making this decision to send ships back in.
How much traffic returns to the strait will affect the future of energy and therefore the global economy. And by taking a look at some of the key factors that prevented the full-blown crisis, we can find clues as to how this could play out. The first factor, and perhaps the most subtly obvious, is that the world was already flush with oil. Roughly 20 million barrels a day were prevented from reaching the market. Existing surplus, strategic national reserves, and commercial inventory offset 9 million of that.
There was a huge release of global stockpiles. It was coordinated by the IEA, and this added a lot of immediate supplies of oil, something like 400 million barrels of oil, that came into the market at short notice from storage tanks all over the world. It was this one-time release that really helped as kind of like a blow-off valve.
The US released pretty significant volumes from its strategic reserves.
Millions of barrels a day of extra oil gushing out of the US to global markets in order to dampen the price impact, particularly in the West.
US exports during this time reached a record.
In Europe and in the US, we had the extra disposable income to pay up for marginal barrels where that needed to happen. And that meant that in relative terms, the West has been cushioned from the spike compared to some of the poorer nations, particularly Asian nations that were heavily reliant on Hormuz for their crude flows in the first place.
Asia in particular doesn't have big oil fields. Asia has been more and more reliant on the Middle East and also on places like Russia.
The crisis highlighted that you can't have a major supply shock in the Middle East and also not have Russian oil.
Yeah. Another cushion was that oil coming from the Middle East never fully stopped flowing.
I think one of the big ones, though, is that China pulled out of the market. I think that was one of the big ones, is China started using its own strategic reserves. But now China's back on the market, so it may get a little worse. But I think that was one of the big reasons.
Bypass pipelines made up for another 6 million barrels.
Just have oil pipelines, gas pipelines going west.
Saudi Arabia was able to basically pipe oil all the way across the country. This had not been tested. It worked and really was a key factor to helping avoid the worst case scenario in terms of the oil market. Same thing with UAE, can currently do about 1.5 million barrels per day. By the end of 2027, they're going to have that up to 3 million barrels per day.
The piped oil lent two ports greater importance: Fujairah, used by the Emirates, and the Saudi port of Yanbu on the Red Sea.
The upshot is, in aggregate, if all the pipeline workarounds work at their maximum, you won't necessarily need as many ships to go through Hormuz in the long term, and in the even longer term, you're potentially seeing more pipelines being built to avoid Hormuz in general.
Perhaps the most unexpected force mitigating the crisis has been the actions of one country: China.
The biggest reason oil prices haven't spiked in the way people thought is really China. China has cut its oil imports in a way that many people thought wasn't possible, or certainly wouldn't have predicted at the outset of the war. We're talking 4 or 5 million barrels a day of reduced crude imports to the lowest level in about 8 years. That is a massive leveler for the global oil market.
Yep.
This pullback can be attributed to a pause in strategic stockpiling. This reduction in demand is really significant as a number, because it is more than the consumption of what Japan, for example, would import on a given day.
Wow.
In some sense, China did the world a favor. If they had been competing for barrels on the marketplace, quite potentially it could have seen more price impact during the closure.
The measures China and...
What's up? Gaza is our home. Give it to us. Give us the news. What's the best news?
Other countries took to achieve roughly 3 million barrels in demand destruction are varied. Added up, these were the major factors preventing the crisis. But China's agility also comes from strategic investments towards electrification.
China is a leading market for electric vehicles. It's not like they had a whole bunch of electric vehicles just sitting in parking lots and suddenly this crisis came on and everyone switched to EVs. They've been rapidly adopting EVs in their economy.
More on this in a moment.
I feel like a pawn in a...
You've hatched 4 peacock eggs at your late brother's farm? Wow. Wow, that is great news.
Well done, my boy.
देखा मैंने कितना अच्छा डांस करता है?
They emerged this morning? Wow.
Hoo-yah, Navy.
Wow.
Hoo-yah, Navy. Hoo-yah, Navy.
Globalized intifada.
That is great news. That's awesome. That must have been an experience. How are they doing? Are they healthy? Are they any issues so far? What's going on?
Big game of chess.
Uncover more at Bloomberg.com/videos.
There's more under China's economic hood.
Something like 90% of the world's solar equipment comes from China. In the first few months following the conflict, we've seen solar exports from China ramp up quite quickly.
You can see that surge here, with other Asian countries, Europe and Africa leading the way. Although exports to other regions seem small, when viewing the world average, the wartime spike is significant. However, for those optimistic problems with the strait could usher in the age of renewables, realities on the ground indicate otherwise.
Wow.
Solar and oil don't really compete with each other because very little oil is used in the power sector.
This combination of energy sources is what keeps the lights on, both literally and figuratively, and it's dominated by coal and natural gas. The innovation of liquefied natural gas is lending this resource increased importance. The LNG market is highly concentrated, with the US, Qatar, Australia, and Russia making up 70% of the global supply.
The US recently became the world's largest LNG exporter. Right there, neck and neck with it, is Qatar. Some of their facilities were actually damaged in the conflict.
Qatar has announced plans to expand natural gas infrastructure, which could lead to them regaining the title of biggest LNG supplier. All of that will take time, but it's another indication that the Strait of Hormuz will remain a critical pathway, even if fees become part of the equation.
Some vessels have been charged up to $2 million just to make it through.
Strait of Hormuz has to be opened, their freedom of navigation has to be respected.
The key question in the sort of the medium to long term is what the policing of Hormuz looks like.
Policing? What do you mean policing, bro? How? I think this is a moment that these Western institutions are just not understanding. It's the West just needs to, calm its farm. The bloodthirsty nature of this oil racket, it has reached a point where it can't just keep moving the way it used to. It's got to change. You can't just keep murdering people for oil. You can't just keep murdering people because you want to control the waterways. Like, that attitude has to change. We have to build an equitable world for all. It's insane to continue to think that this is a good solution, to just be militaristic around the world. It's not a good deal.
Will we have tolling arrangement? There's an argument to be made that Iran's control over Hormuz might not be the same as it was, but its ability to shut Hormuz at a moment's notice will now never be forgotten.
I think Iran potentially plays.
We've got like 7 ducks, 4 geese, 5 turkeys, 27 chickens, and now 4 peacocks. Oh my gosh. You got fucking like Jurassic Park in there.
A more meaningful role in the oil market, assuming there is a peace agreement that allows them to boost their own production and exports.
Many of these Middle Eastern producers are among the lowest cost producers in the world, which gives them a natural advantage and which makes them still very attractive and important suppliers to global refiners.
So the answer to whether the world has reached peak Hormuz is an incredibly complicated one. Markets adapted quickly, absorbing shock and fending off price extremes. But it's safe to say that most nations will be making a plan B.
Even though the waterway will continue to be vital, people have learned some lessons from this crisis.
The critical things of a peak Hormuz world are redundancy and resiliency and investment in alternatives.
Yeah. Redundancy and resiliency for who? For who? My brother in Christ. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about the whole world, or are you just talking about the colonizers? I just hate this narrative of like, it'll all be fine. We just need to do this, and this. But they're only talking about the Western nations here, right? I mean, I am listening to Bloomberg, I guess. But unless and until the West starts thinking about the whole world equitably, because the global South has to think about the whole world. Right? Like the global South can't make a decision without thinking about how it'll impact the West. Because if it does impact the West, then the West will implement financial sanctions or just bomb them. So the West just needs to start to think like global citizens, not like patriotic D-bags, you know? Those peacocks will grow into mini cassowaries. Defensive weapons will be necessary. I just don't get why they still speak this way about the world. They speak about the world in such a, dehumanizing way. The whole world is just the West. I hate that narrative now. Like, I see it everywhere, and it annoys the crap out of me. How serious is Iran's threat to disrupt shipping in the Red Sea?
Serious is Iran's threat to disrupt shipping in the Red Sea. After the Strait of Hormuz, the Revolutionary Guard says the Bab al-Mandab Strait could be next. How far would Iran's allies in Yemen go to support it? And what would a disruption in Bab al-Mandab mean for the global economy? This is Inside Story. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Sami Zaidan. Some call it the Gate of Tears. Bab al-Mandab in the Red Sea wields importance as a global shipping artery. Well, this week, Iran's Revolutionary Guard threatened to use the strait as its next front in the war with the US. It says regional energy exports are either for everyone or no one at all. Well, such a move would mean relying on its Houthi allies in Yemen to block the shipping route. Iran's warning comes amid an escalation with the US, which has endangered the fragile agreement they reached late last month. But how serious is the Revolutionary Guard's threat? What would it mean for a volatile region and the global economy? We'll talk to our guests in a moment, but first, this report from Ferdia Carr.
Although the US says talks with Iran are continuing, the latest exchange of strikes is breaking down the agreement that was meant to pave the way to a final deal to end the war.
Welcome, everybody. We have more viewers on YouTube today. Welcome, everybody on YouTube. Welcome, everybody on Twitch. I will refrain from live streaming on TikTok for a while because now I have an account warning on TikTok. I have 2 violations on TikTok, so I will just stay off TikTok for a while. So welcome. Follow me here. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Twitch. And we're good.
Iran has effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz, the crucial waterway through which 20% of global oil exports transit. And the US has reimposed its naval blockade of Iranian ports. Iran's ability to disrupt commercial shipping has given it leverage in the negotiations. On Wednesday, the Revolutionary Guard threatened to close all other export corridors that benefit the...
After I made my announcement, after I made my statement on LinkedIn, I just feel like there's a lot of people observing me now because they know because I posted all of those videos on other channels as well. So I think there's a lot of awareness now of... They've connected the dots between, Sarvajit on LinkedIn to the Noisy Immigrant. So I think I'm going to get a lot more people who are, ready to take action on me because they're all, you came from TikTok? Nice. Welcome, Angela. A lot more people who will come here and, who aren't particularly happy. Like, I don't know if New Zealand people will come here just to see who I am making all of this noise on LinkedIn, but we'll see. We may have new people anyway. Hopefully they come with good intent and not trying to derail everything. But yeah, if you're new, we have quite a close-knit community here and we learn about the world together. We use satire a fair bit. We talk about pretty hard, we talk about pretty complex subjects, like white supremacy, white fragility, like European colonization, like marginalization, and our goal is to make the world a more equitable place for all. So we talk about subjects that aren't, for your weak-hearted So if you're here expecting, I don't know, something else, it might be tough, but we're quite a close-knit community here. We're always talking about these sorts of things. And yeah, it gets quite rough. And a partridge in a pear tree, yeah. Hey, oh, Nowdy, I don't know you. I knew. We got new people here, folks. We've got new people. Wow. Welcome.
The US and its allies. That is being seen as a warning that Iran could close the Bab el-Mandeb Strait with support from Ansar Allah, also known as the Houthis in Yemen. Bab el-Mandeb links the Indian Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea by way of the Gulf of Aden, Red Sea and Suez Canal. At its narrowest point between Djibouti and Yemen, the strait is about 29.
Djibouti is the best country name in the world. Prove me wrong.
9 kilometers wide. Roughly 12% of global trade passes through the waterway, including nearly a third of the world's container traffic. Disruptions there could force ships traveling between Asia and Europe to go around the southern tip of Africa, adding time and cost. Between 2023 and 2025, during Israel's war on Gaza, the Houthis conducted dozens of attacks on commercial vessels in the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. A US-led coalition carried out strikes in Yemen and launched joint naval patrols in response. The Houthi attacks largely stopped after the Gaza ceasefire took effect in October last year. If Iran persuades the Houthis to reopen their campaign against shipping in the Red Sea, the conflict would expand beyond the Gulf, threatening another major artery of global trade and increasing the economic cost of the conflict. Freddie Akar, Al Jazeera for Inside Story.
Well, let's bring our guests into the show. We have joining us from Tehran in Iran, Ali Ahmadi. He's an executive fellow at the Geneva Center for Security Policy, who specializes in economic statecraft. Ian Rolby is in Baltimore, Maryland. He's a senior fellow at the Center for Maritime Strategy. He's advised shipping companies and governments on maritime security. And in London, Farah Al-Muslimi, a research fellow at the Middle East and North Africa program.
Djibouti, the D is silent. Oh my God. Stop it. Stop it.
At Chatham House, he specializes in Yemen and the wider Gulf region. A warm welcome to you all. If I could start with Ian. So, Ian, do we know at this point how much of the world's trade, how much of its vital goods goes through the Bab el-Mandeb Straits? And the reason I'm asking is when you do a little bit of research, it seems prior to the Gaza war in 2023, oil, for example, 9% of the global trade went through the Bab el-Mandeb. But then after that, it seems to have gone down. And then the reports it went up again when the Straits of Hormuz were closed. What's the current situation?
Yeah, being exact with numbers and percentages is very difficult right now, but your general trend analysis is absolutely right. Once the Houthis started attacking ships, beginning with the Galaxy Leader, which we saw in the opening there on the 19th of November 2023, we saw a major decline in oil traffic through the Red Sea. As was noted, about a third of the world's container traffic went through the Red Sea, and that has not resumed. The oil and gas exports through that critical waterway, however, have started rebounding because of the limited access through the Strait of Hormuz and the need to get oil moving in order to meet global.
Yeah, look, I think Bab el-Mandeb is going to be an issue. I want to move on. Like, that's going to be. I think we've heard enough of those narratives. I didn't think it was going to be too different, honestly. Like, yeah, blocking the Strait of Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb is going to cause problems. Yeah, we know. Okay? We fucking know. Now, let's look at how China's Made in Africa strategy is taking shape. The rise of China over the last few years, you know, I feel has been accelerated due to America's adventurism in the Middle East. In particular, the genocide in Gaza and the genocide in Gaza, and now all their meddling to control oil flows, and now the illegal war against Iran. We can add, obviously, Iraq, Afghanistan, all of those sorts of things as well to the mix. But all of this put together, what it's done is given China an opportunity to focus. It's given China an opportunity to focus on expanding its Belt and Road Initiative, and Africa is becoming quite a big focus. And this is one of those things. This is one area in China's strategy that's starting to really reveal itself. This Made in Africa strategy is quite a massive deal in China's investments. It's scary as fuck because we know what's happening in the DRC with China, with the cobalt mines, and around Africa, because America wants more control in Africa. So China and Africa are starting to, have proxy wars, include Russia in that as well. Europe is doing it in partnership with America, but Russia's in there, China's in there. So it's starting to get quite heated again in Africa. So it scares the shit out of me. But this Made in Africa strategy is quite unique. And I want you all to understand what it is. So let's get into this one. This was, I watched this before, and it is, I think, an exciting time for Africa, but also a scary ass fucking time.
For decades, China came to South Africa looking for opportunity.
This is chrome concentrate.
Some arrived with little more than a suitcase.
My name is Nanfei, which in Chinese, it translates directly to South Africa.
Today, China's footprint is impossible to miss. But something is changing.
真正扎根在这个地方做制造业的，实际上并不是很多。
What is driving this transformation? And what does it mean for China's next chapter in South Africa?
By the way, do you all know about tariffs? The Chinese tariffs in Africa. They've lifted tariffs on all African products. They've lifted tariffs on products from all African countries except one, I think. Except one. But yeah, they're really starting to focus on Africa. I think that focus is coming because of the pressure from America and Latin America. Pressure from the United States of America in Latin America to get China out of there. But yeah, this is, I think Africa is the next sort of hotly contested. I mean, it's always been hotly contested, right? But I think even more now.
This is South Africa's Northern Cape, an hour-and-a-half flight from the nation's economic hub.
Have you guys been to South Africa? Has anyone here been to South Africa? Or do we have people from South Africa in chat?
Johannesburg. It's the country's largest province, but its least populated.
You've been there, Frank?
Well, one of the things that has really struck me just driving around the Northern Cape is just how much land and open space there is.
You've spent time
I have
in
spent
Joburg.
nearly a decade reporting.
What's Joburg like? What's Joburg like? I haven't been to South Africa, folks, so I don't know. Give me some highlights
About China and watching its global footprint grow. Africa increasingly central to that story.
China has been the region's largest trading partner for the last 15 years.
But trade was only the beginning.
I had the opportunity to study abroad in South Africa or Japan, and I chose Japan. I made a mistake. Really? Hey, Ali, welcome. Why was it a mistake? It has an H&M, but also dire poverty, I see.
I'm here to understand.
I like those, the two highlights. It has an H&M, but also dire poverty. Like, could you dig a little deeper?
What comes next? And I'm in search of what's been dubbed
Whites
a flagship clean energy project
of
China's Belt and Road Initiative. Projects such as this have become China's calling card in Africa.
Hey, should I try live streaming on Facebook and Instagram as well? What do you guys think? Should I try live streaming on Facebook and Instagram instead of TikTok? Because TikTok hates me, bro. TikTok just hates me.
From afar, it almost looks like a shimmering lake. But this is Redstone, one of South Africa's largest renewable energy projects. Here, 40,000 mirrors move with the sun, reflecting its heat onto a tower. The energy is stored inside molten salt.
Rumble for the chuds? Nah, man. I can't do that. I can't do that. It'll get too chuddy. Maybe just Facebook. How about we try Facebook? Because the Noisy Immigrant is growing pretty fast on Facebook. So we can try Facebook.
Generating enough electricity for more than 200,000 homes.
I literally feel like I'm walking through a sea of mirrors right now, and I can tell you it's 12 noon, the hottest time of the day in the South African summer, and feeling the sun on my skin, you can certainly tell why this would be a good place for a solar plant like this.
Redstone entered commercial operation last year. The Chinese firm SEPCO 3, a subsidiary of state-owned Power China, built this site. The project represents a model of engagement that has defined China across Africa for years. Large, state-backed infrastructure.
之前这边就是一个这种牧区，全是草。每个定日镜的名字呢，为什么叫它定日镜呢？就是每天早上这个光伏无限的驱动，来把它带起来之后，会实时的跟踪太阳的高度角。这应该算是一个比较先进的技术，在国际上，在国内。
For Deputy Project Director Wang Zhiyou, South Africa is simply the latest stop in a career spent building projects overseas. The 40-year-old...
Guys, I'm just going to use the bathroom quickly. 5 minutes. I'll keep playing this because we're not on TikTok. I'll keep playing this. I'll be back.
From eastern China's Shandong province has worked in the Middle East and for the last 3 years has called the Northern Cape home.
到世界各地去工作，开始工作的时候有预想到吗？
开始工作的时候并没有想到这么多，但是慢慢的工作就适应了。你像在沙特区都夏天的温度很高，我们的工作量包括日常的这个现场，同志们都还是很热的，的这个在这边呢，整个气温这个包括还有冬季都还是很合适的。
His answer reflects something bigger. As Chinese companies expanded overseas, so too did the careers of many Chinese engineers.
我们作为一个传统的这种 EPC，我们倒是比较适应的是，我们自己会带一些这种这个生活上的这个厨师服务后勤呀这一块，我们还是公司搞的这个还是比较完善的，所以大家出来呢吃饭上并没有什么很多不适应，就是基本上都是我们这个中国的这个餐饮。
Every mega project changes more than a landscape. It changes the people around it too. 32-year-old Fabricius Jacobs grew up less than 30 kilometers from here.
When we were at school, there wasn't much going on, but in 2009 things started changing when the mines came. They started discovering that there's iron ore and manganese in our place. And as time developed, a lot of solars also started popping up. Initially, because they didn't have knowledge about the projects, they would be against it, like, who's these people coming?
Today, he works as the bridge between the Chinese contractor and nearby communities, helping navigate language, culture, and expectations.
In the beginning, it was quite difficult. Communication is everything. But we speak, we have applications that we use to speak with. And then on all our signs, we try and translate, if we can put it down on both languages. And we also had some workshops, where we address cultural differences. The most significant training that I got was grievance resolution, how to resolve grievances between. This is formal training between the community and also internal grievances.
While these tensions are not talked about as much, what's hailed in Chinese state media are the more than 2,500 jobs that were created from the Redstone project, 650 of them taken up by the local community. South Africa faces high youth unemployment rates exceeding 40%.
I always make a joke and I say I came in as a cat and now I'm a lion. This is one of the only projects of this size and this magnitude in South Africa. So having it on your CV, whoever you are, gives you an advantage.
Power China says it aims to establish operations in almost every African market within 5 years. The continent accounts for about 30% of its overseas revenue, and this is expected to rise.
作为一个进入南非市场的第一个项目，除了熟悉当地的这个分包管理和这个法律法规，另一方面呢，就南非对于这个新能源的需求还是很大的。
But even as projects such as these continue, China's approach is beginning to evolve.
Did I take long?
The next chapter is no longer just about building infrastructure.
Well, that was the highlight, that it is a city of huge contrasts, fancy skyscrapers, wealthy neighborhoods, and luxury lifestyles sit right next to poverty, informal settlements, and the ongoing effects of apartheid. Go piss, girl. Facebook boomers be like, why didn't Trump deport this one? Oh dear. Rich areas with the H&M, like Rosebank, are like any other urban center, while areas like Hillbrow are impoverished and overrun with crime. The whole city has regular and random power outages that cause issues as well. Wow.
Much of this landscape has shaped China's relationship with South Africa. We're in Limpopo province, one of South Africa's richest mining regions. Known for its vast deposits of chrome, platinum group metals, and iron ore.
And this is the final product. This black powder, which holding it in my hands feels so much like sand, but really this is chrome concentrate, which then gets trucked from the mine here via Johannesburg to the port in Durban before it gets shipped out to the world.
Chrome is an essential.
So this is all crazy because China is investing to build production facilities or set up supply chains from raw materials to end products in Africa, right? But it's going to be run by African people. And it blows my mind. Like, what's the deal here? You know, what is in it for them? How do they, is it loans? Is it sequestering of land? Like, what is it? You know, what is this Belt and Road Initiative? I need to understand it. Do you guys want to go on a bit of a journey tonight to understand what the Belt and Road Initiative is?
In stainless steel.
Are you guys
For
keen?
a long time, China came here to buy minerals such as these. But increasingly, it's more than just the end user.
We're in Langpun's chrome mining pit. We're roughly 25 meters below ground level. If you look up at the rocks here, that these rocks are far too hard for excavators to break. You'll see a blue drill rig, and what that does is it drills holes into the waste rock. You load.
China is essentially rebuilding all of Poland's railway infrastructure. It's soft power. Understand, but I mean, there's got to be some long-term return on investment, right? Soft power can't just be because countries can shut off the soft power, presumably at some stage, right? Like European nations have some level of sovereignty that way. But what is the return? Is it taxes? Like, what is it?
Those holes with explosives, and you shatter the rock into pieces that your big excavators would collect, place on ADTs, and then move out of the pit. It will go up into the crushing section, and in that crushing section, it'll break this down from about 30 centimeters to 4 centimeters or less. It will then head off into our processing plant, where it will continue being beneficiated into a chrome concentrate. I think our goal is to get this chrome out as quickly as possible, as cleanly as possible, and as efficiently as possible.
So
Fuck, I just read the sickest post, okay? Check this out. You share photos of women in hijab, a woman in a hijab, and say, look how oppressed they are. You never share photos of women holding their dead child in a bombed hospital and say, look what my taxes did. You're not worried about women's rights. You are worried about maintaining the illusion that your violence is somehow enlightened. That's so real. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, I'm saving that one.
Sure, the equipment makes a difference to your bottom line.
Absolutely. What we realized is that SANY's equipment is highly cost efficient. It's very, very competitive.
America is lashing
out. It runs
out
at very low operating costs.
What surprised me wasn't simply that the mine had chosen Chinese machinery, it was why. SANY was established in 1994. It's grown into one of China's largest heavy equipment manufacturing companies, with machinery sold in more than 180 countries and regions. Last year, it generated almost $12.5 billion in revenue.
I would say better access to European market plus Chinese construction companies gaining EU experience as far as navigating bureaucracy. But really only China knows.
What that means from a maintenance and post-sales service is it simplifies that entirely.
How did a Chinese machinery company become so deeply embedded in one of South Africa's mines? To find out, I traveled back to Johannesburg. This is SANY's new industrial park. It was still under construction when we visited. When completed, it will become the company's manufacturing and assembly hub for Southern Africa. It's part of a much bigger global strategy. Africa was SANY's fastest growing overseas market last year. When Leon Liu first arrived in South Africa in 2010, he told us Chinese companies here were still a rarity.
到现在开始看的话，实际上我觉得越来越多的中国企业在南非，包括现在你看我们在南非有采矿的中国企业，我们也有帮助这边进行修桥、修路这样的中国企业，包括我们还有一些中国企业在这边做他们这个就是新能源，包括当地的群众和人其实也是越来越愿意和中国人去合作，去一起做一些事情，不像以前的话还是排斥很强的，现在的话我觉得是越来越受到欢迎了。
SANY's story isn't unique. It reflects a much bigger shift inside China's economy. A prolonged property downturn, slowing construction activity, and rising trade tensions have encouraged more Chinese manufacturers to look beyond home for growth. It has been striking. By 2023, overseas markets had become the biggest part of its business. Last year, they accounted for almost 2/3 of the company's revenue.
Wow.
Across industries, Chinese manufacturers are increasingly choosing to build closer to customers.
You had local manufacturers trying to essentially push for more protective tariffs to protect South Africa's local car manufacturing industry. What the South African government sought to do was they sought to essentially try and...
You believe the Chinese when they say they don't want to engage in colonialism? Really? Why do you believe that? Because they're engaging in colonial practices in the DRC.
Encourage Chinese investment into local manufacturing rather than trying to restrict imports.
That policy is already taking shape. Chery, China's largest vehicle exporter, recently opened its first manufacturing plant in South Africa, taking over a former Nissan car factory while pledging to create nearly 3,000 jobs. The two governments have also been deepening economic ties through new trade, investment, and regulatory agreements.
The reality that we've had our smelters in chrome and manganese.
I don't think we should believe anybody. Like, I don't think we should believe any government is what I'm trying to say. I don't think it's particularly productive to just believe government straight up, because we know they're playing a game, right? Like, it's all about how to maintain their interests. So I don't think you can just say, oh, while things are going well, they're not doing bad shit. But once things start to turn, they'll do bad shit. It's inevitable.
Closing down and a lot of this product going into the Chinese market. And we said, but can we try and ensure that we get Chinese investors to do these sorts of investment in the country? And China has been open to that discussion.
What would success...
Why you should distrust them? I don't think Chinese people or like the Chinese government are immune from being human. I think it's human nature to be territorial and greedy. So why are Chinese people any different? I think the Chinese government will work for its own interests. Like, I don't get this, guys. I don't get why there's this thing that the Chinese government won't do bad shit.
Look like to you when it comes to negotiating this new trade agreement?
Well, success would include greater industrialization in South Africa. It would include improving the balance of trade. South Africa's economy has been growing at a very low level, and I think this gives us an opportunity to accelerate that level of growth.
As China emerged from the COVID-19 pandemic, its economy looked different. That shift...
I've worked on CAD research projects in South Africa, and I think South Africa has some protections and institutions in place to manage foreign investments, although there are ongoing debates about how effectively they address the challenges associated with large-scale Chinese investment. Yeah. I think what China brings is scale. I don't think many countries have that foresight or long-term thinking like China does. I think it's very hard. We shouldn't assume, however, that they will do the same things as the US does. I think their system is better at learning from the mistakes of others and planning strategically. Mistakes will happen. Harm absolutely will be caused, but I think there is an understanding that the US imperialist path is not the one that leads to prosperity. I don't think any imperialist path leads to prosperity. It's like to go, the Chinese government, guys, this is the problem. Communications for development, I see. I thought that was an A for some reason. I don't see any necessity to think that any one government is better than the other. I don't think there's anything that truly indicates China is currently taking over parts of Siberia. Or do you mean Siberia? Oh, Siberia! Siberia, bro. Oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart. Parts of Siberia through the active settlement of Chinese citizens. Many regions now already have more Chinese-speaking people than Russians. Many schools teach only in Mandarin. Companies that have settled there hire only Chinese-speaking workers. Street signs are being replaced with Chinese language ones. China is exploiting Russia's weakness in a very hard-nosed way. Nuh-uh, my big beautiful leader, Kid Stava, would never disappoint me. Stop! I can only get so erect. Lol. I don't think this is that is human nature. That is something that capitalism teaches us. No. I think capitalism, white supremacy, and Western imperialism, American imperialism, they are sort of the violent versions of what has been happening, the super violent versions of what is.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Super violent flavors or variations of what's been happening in the world for a long time. That doesn't mean we couldn't have a more violent version. To say that this is the most violent version and it'll be okay after this is wrong. It's just wrong.
Shift didn't just reshape industrial giants. It also created opportunities for a new generation of Chinese entrepreneurs.
I think, again, that's the Western mindset. You know, it's like, the Western mindset is, the Western leftist mindset is, we hate Western institutions, so that other institution over there should be, it'll be great. But Western leftism needs to understand, like white leftism in particular, needs to understand that black and brown people are constantly concerned about other forms of imperialism too. It's not just like white supremacy is the main one, and Western violence, white fragility, all of these things are obviously top of the pops, top of the list of violence. But there are layers to this, right? And when white leftists talk about China like it's fucking Shangri-La, it makes, I think, a lot of people just go, really, bro? Like, I think it's just, I think it's like a white leftist kink to just be fondled by Mao or something, you know?
For many South Africans, places like these became the first encounter with Chinese businesses. Rows of imported goods from China, family-run shops, entrepreneurs chasing opportunities.
But classical gas, that plan has also been extractive in nature. Like, you can't. Yes, it's been extractive for a shorter amount of time, but it has been extractive in nature. Like, you can't deny that. They may be planning like better extractionism, but it's still extractionism, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't. Melanie is like, I always say, if you've never been there, shut the fuck up. No, I don't think that's the right attitude either. That's, what's that guy's name? Have you been there? Have you been there? Have you been there? This is what it sounds like, Melanie. Where is he? Have you been there?
Hours. The
Hold on. I can't find his. Who is that guy again? The have you been there, dude?
and with K2 and
Have you been there? Douglas Murray, that's the guy. That's the guy. Have you been there? Douglas Murray, Joe Rogan.
probably more tilted towards the
There's been a tilt in the conversation.
gas or anything like
I
that.
tried. Well, you're not a geopolitics guy in general, are you? Mainly talking about Israel.
No,
I don't know if I'm mainly
no.
talking about Israel.
That's the thing.
Yeah, but that's not
I think that's a
exactly
little
that's
bit
not
out of
exactly what
context.
Daryl was saying. I mean, Daryl's point of view, however you feel about this, what Daryl is saying is he doesn't really like doing debates. He likes to do long form
things, and it'd be fascinating to see your perspectives on these things. So that's why you're here together.
Okay.
And
Well,
Douglas,
Can I ask you something?
yes, sir.
Since the war in Israel began, and since the war in Ukraine began, you've had quite a lot of people who are very against both in different ways.
Yes.
Do you think you've had enough people on who are supportive of either war?
I don't know that word enough, if that's a good word.
Let's say enough people who are on the side of Israel instead of wild critics of Israel.
Well, I've had a few. I mean, I believe God's had.
Douglas Murray's
Me
so
personally appoints himself an expert in anything.
Who's that other dude who...
Have you ever absorbed any of his material? Have you ever consumed any of his podcasts or anything like that?
I don't know what I'm talking about, but now I'm going to talk.
Yeah, but that's not what Daryl's saying is can really explain his
But
position.
if you throw a lot of shit out there, there's some point at which I'm just raising questions is not a valid thing.
Isn't that?
I think there's a whole bunch of Guardian, but he's now...
I don't know if I'm mainly
No.
talking about Israel.
It's
but
just
I don't
you
think that's.
consuming clips.
But that is also your shtick now, isn't it?
Well, I don't even know exactly what you're asking.
I'm saying you've decided, being a comedian, you've decided now to become somebody who talks about Israel
This
and
is
the
not,
conflict.
I think you're incorrect. I don't think it's a decision. I just think you have long form conversation. I don't
I
think
know,
it's a
but-
thing, polarizing issue.
You would not be on my lips.
Yeah, but
or a
he
lot of other
does
people's.
talk about Yemen constantly. He talks about a lot of things that aren't in the news.
Well, I
constantly.
tend to talk about the conflicts that my government is directly involved in, which I think is reasonable to me. But I don't quite get, like, what's all the appeal to authority stuff? I mean, what you have to be an expert, or
no, I
and
think
what exactly
authority
makes
matters.
you
I
an
think
expert?
authority matters, and I think that if you just throw a lot of shit out there and then say I'm not interested in the alternative views on this, and particularly when it's a counter narrative that is wildly off. And when you get people, look, I just feel we should get it out straight away. I feel you've opened the door to quite a lot of people who've now got a big platform, who have been throwing out counter historical stuff.
Yeah. So, like, his whole thing is you have to be an expert on a subject before you have an opinion on it. And I think that is gatekeeping. You don't need to be an expert on Palestine and what Israel has done to understand that mass murdering children is wrong. Like, this is what this guy is trying to say, is you can't speak about these subjects if you're not educated about the whole region. But it's like, bro, I'm seeing, hundreds of dead children on a daily basis. What the fuck do you want me to do? Just stay quiet and like let you bullshit everybody? It's insane, right? It's like the most insane narrative to say. But Melanie, like coming back to your point, that this is what I'm trying to say is many people haven't been to Israel, Palestine, Sudan, DRC. But you should definitely speak about those things. Everybody should speak about the injustices happening there, even if they haven't been there. Have you been there is such a, I don't know. I just don't think it's the type of gatekeeping we need to do. We shouldn't do that. I don't think we should anyway. Happy to take everyone else's opinion, but I don't think we should.
Opportunity. They became known simply as China malls.
So I've just been inside the China Mall, and really there are so many people.
You ought to do research, yes, but Douglas Murray's famously wrong about everything. Oh, yeah. Douglas Murray talks a lot about Iran, by the way, and he hasn't been to Iran, right? Like, the guy is just, he's just full of hypocrisy, full of contradictions, and yeah, I despise him. But that's that when you say, Melanie, you know, if you haven't been there, shut the fuck up. That's what Douglas Murray says.
People inside shopping, after all, it is the weekend here, and you really can find everything from electronics to clothes, toys.
Many of the traders I met didn't want to appear on camera.
You say we shouldn't, but have you done it, Noisy? I don't know. I don't know if I've done it. I can't remember. And that's a good thing, I guess, because I can't remember doing it to anybody in a while. He is dim with a posh accent. He hadn't thought through the implications of what he was saying, and it was very easily exposed by Joe Rogan and all people. Yeah, it was stupid. The other thing is, like, his take on Winston Churchill is very telling. He loves Winston Churchill. He's like, oh, Winston was a great man. Kiki! Hola! Welcome.
But their stories sounded familiar. They came looking for opportunities. Some said jobs had become harder to find in China. Others believed they could build a business here with relatively little capital.
Now, we've been driving around this industrial area that's just right next to the Johannesburg CBD, and already on this short stretch of road, we've passed by maybe 4, 5, or even more China malls. These have really sprung up over the years, so much so that locals call this area now the new Chinatown.
But this isn't where the story began. Johannesburg's actual Chinatown, Cyrildene, is where Chen Xiuzhu and many others first set up shop in 2006.
对于南非完全就是个陌生的地方，讲英语那我听得懂，如果是讲这边的话我听不懂，那没办法，只能自己硬学嘛。超市也开过，服装店也开过，那时候赚了第一笔钱嘛，那回家肯定要去建房子啊之类的。
But Miss Chen says the Chinatown she remembers is changing.
以前好。
I think the great force about China being the way it is, or at least, you know, China growing to the stage it has, I think it's amazing to have counterbalance. Like, amazing to have some counterbalance to America. Because, fuck, man, America needs a counterbalance. You can't just have America and nothing else, you know? So, in that way, China has played its role incredibly well, but now we need more. You know, we need more countries in that tier 1 size. We need more states that are that big, and we can't have the inequities between states. So we've got to like start to bring nations to, you know, a standard around the world where inequities aren't so great. we just have to, right? Like, we can't have the West continuing to just loot the crap out of the global South. We can't do that anymore. It has to be balanced.
唐人街非常的繁华，就每到星期六、星期天街上都是人啊。你想现在街上都很安静的。以前他们那些人都是居住在这一个地方，很集中嘛。那现在华人都分散了。你看三屯那边也有很多华人住在那边嘛，对吧？然后中非商贸城那边也有。
The center of gravity is shifting.
早期因私出国的比较多嘛，那现在中资国企的，就是这企业级别的人多起来。
出来。Away from small trading businesses towards larger companies.
中规论坛在前年呢召开后，很多的企业要走出来，也需要政府的签证引信。特别这1、2年，很多国内的过来寻找商机，国有企业还有我们的个体私人企业很多啊，我们接触太多，给他指明一个方向嘛，那人家少走点弯路吧，那他知道这边南非的政策是怎么样。
The entrepreneurs today often have a very different profile. 35-year-old Eason Zhou is one of them.
So over there, those are the inverters.
She studied overseas and relocated after marrying a South African. She worked in property before spotting an opportunity in 2022 during South Africa's electricity crisis.
I was having a casual chat with one of my friends from university, and she was looking for investment opportunities outside of China, because after COVID, there aren't many opportunities in China. I said, well, why don't you look at solar? Because in South Africa, load shedding became a huge problem, and it actually impacted the neighboring countries as well. So within 3 months, I resigned my job. I opened this company. I flew to Joburg, opened a warehouse, and then we started recruiting people.
Her business isn't simply about importing solar equipment. It's about connecting Chinese manufacturers with African customers.
People are inviting me to go and see their factory. I was in Jiangsu province and I was in Shenzhen, where a lot of solar companies were there, and the people was like, oh, we know that you are in China, come and visit our factories.
Here we are. Look at these panels on a round roof.
It's more and more difficult for Chinese companies to sell within China, so it's a strategy for all of these factories to look overseas. And also Europe is very exaggerated. When they first came, they thought, okay, cool, the market's great. I can just send some salespeople from China to do the sale. The market's reaction is, first of all, yes, I can buy from you from a cheaper price, but afterwards I have no support. I'd rather spend more money to buy from a local distributor, which we know they're going to be here long term.
But perhaps the clearest sign of how the China-South Africa relationship has evolved is 31-year-old Liu Nanfei.
When my parents were deciding on immigrating, we're from Guizhou province in China. When post-apartheid happened in 1994, they saw that there was a great opportunity for them to select South Africa as their country of choice.
Funny, eh? Like, Chinese people saw South Africa as an opportunity after apartheid, whereas white people in South Africa, after, like, so many left South Africa after apartheid, like the whole thing is so starkly different. I've never ever heard, like, this is the first time I've kind of heard that narrative of, you know, flipping the script, where a lot of people, a lot of, you know, South Africans in Aotearoa as well, who have been here since the fall of apartheid, a lot of white South Africans, you'll hear them, oh, we came over here, you know, about that time, and because things were getting too chaotic. But others saw an opportunity to go to a place that isn't a white supremacist nation, whereas other white people moved to other countries. It's just such a stark, the mindset of the two narratives, man, honestly, it's it's nice to hear this narrative. It's the end of apartheid was a good thing.
Choice. And to honor sort of that confidence, they also named me after South Africa. So my name is Nanfei, which in Chinese, it translates directly to South Africa.
Nanfei.
Unlike her parents building a business importing Chinese goods, Miss Liu grew up in South Africa before leaving to study and later work in the United States. Like many young professionals, she could have stayed, but instead chose to come back 2 years ago.
With how South Africa and China's political relationships were developing, my parents brought up the idea that why don't you come back, right? Which is a very controversial idea, because once you go to America, why would you come back, right? But like this is very common now, where so many of my peers who were in Australia or America are choosing to come back to South Africa to whether join our economy here or inherit their parents' business, because we're seeing such promising growth.
Today, Miss Liu runs a business helping Chinese companies expand into South Africa, and South African organizations build relationships in China.
My parents, they built their business on what you could perhaps just call hard skills, right? We're not a public relations company, we're not an events coordination company. We're a company where we strategize what is needed for you to successfully implement yourself in South Africa or in China.
As my time in South Africa drew to a close, I realized I came looking for China's next chapter in the country. But what I found was a relationship changing in both directions. As China evolves, South Africa is
China isn't controlled by capitalists, but it's controlled by capitalism. Capitalism is very much a core part of China's economy, right? Or the way China works. Yes, the government is communist, or at least identifies and operates that way, but it is capitalism at the end of it. Yeah, it's state capitalism, exactly. So yeah, they're not controlled by capitalists, but capitalism is still very much a controlling factor.
Changing with it. And in turn, the choices made here are shaping China's future as well.
Yeah, China saw capitalism as an opportunity, and post Mao, opened up to capitalism. Like a lot of investment came into China that way. So you can't say China isn't. Yeah, you're right. It's not controlled by capitalists, but it's definitely capitalism. They're playing the long game. Yeah, it's more state control, yes, but it's still capitalism. Okay, now we're gonna change the flavor a little bit. We're gonna change the tone, shift the tone to Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, I do want to talk about the platform and getting going. But I think we'll start with the admins. I'll put a call. I'll put a call together, guys. Shiny and I don't think My Clothes Brush is here, but Shiny and My Clothes Brush and Scary and Fudge, etc. We'll have a call, and then we'll start organizing and onboarding people. But yeah, the platform's ready to launch. So we'll talk about the platform after this, and we'll begin to. I want to start doing things, setting challenges and things in the platform so that, people have things to do in a structured way. So I think that'll be pretty cool.
Came out, I, like others, was tasked with going through these files, and I spotted something rather familiar when I searched for Lutnick.
Andy was looking for any files that referenced the US Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick.
More than 250 documents come up. He's in the files more than 250 times. And going through all of those, I came across one which was a record of an interview that was given to the FBI, and I looked at the allegations and they sounded...
Yeah. China has capitalists. Of course it does. But I'm talking about the system of capitalism. You're talking about individuals, but China is still like capitalism itself is, I guess, in that way, the person who controls capitalism in China is Xi, right? Like, you got to understand, capitalism as a system is still very important to China. It's driving China's growth. It's very much a key part of what China is about today.
Strangely familiar. I've been hearing them for years.
He'd spotted the name of one of his sources.
I realised that actually what I've been hearing from the whistleblower had real substance to it. And then we found out something more involving not just Lutnick, not just Epstein, but also our very own Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor.
In an exclusive BBC interview, a whistleblower gives his first ever interview, revealing how he unearthed evidence suggesting that Lutnick failed to disclose a business relationship with the dead paedophile financier. From the BBC, I'm Tristan Redmond in London, and this is The Global Story on YouTube. Andy Verity, financial investigations correspondent with the BBC. Great to have you back on the show.
Good to be here.
How did you hear about this story?
Well, it's one of those stories where you've been thinking of doing it for years and years, but it's not quite there. So a man named Simon Andrews, who's at the centre of our story, he's a British whistleblower. He now lives in Cornwall.
In southwest England.
In southwest England, where he's recuperating because of a traumatic 10 years trying to expose malpractice and misconduct at his former employer.
I would have flashbacks to incidents that had happened in the past. They're called dissociative seizures, where I was developing like a head movement, like your head shaking.
And what have the doctors told you about what's caused that?
That's due to the intense ordeal I've been through. I would say the retaliation that I've endured for 10 years.
Retaliation for what?
For my whistleblowing.
I've been talking to him for 5 years. He was introduced to me by a colleague in 2021 and told me things he knew about Howard Lutnick and Jeffrey Epstein and the Royals. And of course I was interested, but I also didn't feel it was quite there in terms of the levels of proof we needed in order to show any links. But this year with the Epstein files, all that changed. So I went back to him. I said, did you know you're in the Epstein files? It turns out that an interview he gave to the FBI in 2020 and 21, where he was making some of these allegations, was also in the Epstein files, and his name had been unredacted. So he was there against his wishes. So I thought, well, if his name's out there anywhere now, no point staying anonymous, and convinced him to give us an interview.
So you went to meet this whistleblower, Simon Andrews. What can you tell us about him?
Well, he's 57 years old. He grew up in a working class house with not much money. But then in the late 80s, he started going to the City of London, the financial district, and he did well. He rose in his career. He had a very successful, lucrative career where he was first at the Japanese bank Nomura and then went on to BGC Partners, which is owned or was owned by President Trump's Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. But he found himself, when he moved from the bank to this firm of brokers owned and controlled by Howard Lutnick, in a very different working atmosphere. He described to me how when someone did their first trade, arranged their first trade, the brokers would bang their phones. They would bang their phones until they ran around the trading floor, and then they'd be doused with water. And it's a very macho atmosphere as well on this trading floor, according to him. But he also starts to hear about what he calls false accounting. The firm would deny it. Money is charged to his desk's broking commission pool, the pool of money that goes towards their bonuses and their pay, which he thinks is improperly charged. He starts to try to raise this internally, concerned about false accounting, not least because he has the responsibility to sign off the accounts. And then he doesn't get a satisfactory response. At the same time, he's under huge pressure.
I have a chest pain, my arm goes numb, and then I'm like in a panic. I have to walk to the Gold Street Hospital down in Wall Street. It's about a 5 minutes walk, and I collapse on the pavement. I get brought into the ER, the A&E.
He has a heart attack.
The cardiologist suddenly goes, there's a blood clot, and it's like emergency stations. Taken into an operating theatre, they're shaving me. Suddenly they're taking the blood clot out of my heart.
And he subsequently, his condition deteriorates, and in spite of that, he says he was put under pressure when he was in hospital, for example, to attend a video conference when he was in no state to, because he was in the middle of an emergency, and a dispute broke out.
I'm in the A&E. He's sending me messages for not turning up to a video conference, which had been scheduled while I was in the emergency.
The firm says he didn't carry out his responsibilities. He says it was whistleblower retaliation, and they sacked him in January 2017. So since then, he's been in dispute with them and looking for any further information he can find. BGC, as I say, denies an allegations, but that put him on a collision course with them. They say his allegations are categorically false and that they've been investigated by authorities, and in their view, they lack credibility.
Okay, so at this point in our story, Simon has left the company. Howard Lutnick, who runs the whole operation at this point, is moving towards a career in politics. Who is he and what's he up to at this point?
Howard Lutnick came from a working-class New York background and joined a firm called Cantor Fitzgerald way back in the late 80s, one of the best-known Wall Street firms. And in the late 90s, he took control of it. And in 2004, he founded BGC Partners. But what he's best known for, Howard Lutnick, is September the 11th, 2001, because Cantor Fitzgerald occupied a couple of floors right at the top of one of the Twin Towers. And of
Cantor Fitzgerald.
course, at 8:46 a.m. on September the 11th, a plane crashed in. As it happened, Howard Lutnick was not at that tower at that time because he'd been dropping off his son at kindergarten. In New York, though, he's feted by President Trump and others as a 9/11 hero. He rebuilt the firm in spite of losing his brother and his best friend. And that's, in a way, the first thing you know about Howard Lutnick.
Before the Epstein files are actually released, how much do we know about the alleged links between Mr. Lutnick and Mr. Epstein?
What we did know is that they both knew Trump. So Epstein knew Trump and Lutnick knew Trump. They were both in New York. They were in that scene of wealthy people and billionaires who knew each other at celebrity events, etc., etc. And then after Trump's first term, when he started to think about running again, and when he succeeded in getting into office, Howard Lutnick took charge of his
I wouldn't say China is capitalist because it's not the capitalists who control the country. Yeah, that statement is wrong.
Transition team. Trump then promotes him to become his trade secretary. So for most people around the world, they'll know him as the man who imposed tariffs on the rest of the world.
But Jeffrey Epstein and Howard Lutnick, correct me if I'm wrong, are actually neighbors at one point. Is that right?
That's right.
Next door neighbors.
That's right. Anybody could look it up and discover that actually that Howard Lutnick lived at one house and they shared a wall. And he's admitted this publicly to the New York Post in a Podforce One podcast in October 2025. Now, his story in October 2025 was that he'd gone round once. He'd only ever seen Jeffrey Epstein once in 2005. And in that Podforce One interview, he says that he had gone round in 2005 and he'd had a little tour of the house with his wife. He says that he was shown a massage table and that Jeffrey Epstein made an inappropriate comment along the lines of, I like to have a massage every day. And Howard Lutnick says that he came up to him and said in a sort of low voice, and the right kind of massage. And Howard Lutnick's initial account is that he then looked at his wife and they said, we're leaving pretty soon. And that he resolved never to be in the same room as him again because he's gross. None of us knew that until very recently, though. All you saw on the public record before he gave that interview was the fact that they had been neighbors in New York and they both knew Trump.
Okay, so that happens in 2005. It's said that they then cut off contact, but then in February of this year, there's this bombshell with the release of the Epstein files. Now, I remember Howard Lutnick's name coming up.
Yeah, so state capitalism means emphasizes markets, profits, and private accumulation under strong state control. That's the model of China, right? It's state capitalism. Like, you can't... It's still... Like, the state is the capitalist.
In them at the time, appearing in the files is not an implication of any wrongdoing, but can you remind us what the files actually said about those links with Epstein?
Well, like, the Western capitalist, the capitalist structure strengthens the individual, whereas in China it strengthens the state, not the individual. But the state that's what state-based capitalism is. But it's all it's capitalism. At the end of the day, capitalism plays quite a big part in China.
What emerged from the files was evidence that appeared to contradict the accounts he'd given in public to the New York Post. What we learned in February then was that there was evidence that he'd been to Jeffrey Epstein's island just around Christmas 2012. A photo emerged showing Howard Lutnick looking very summery on the island with Jeffrey Epstein and his son. Mm-hmm. Now, that photo was actually taken down initially, withdrawn from release.
I think what a lot of people, leftists and others, have trouble with is the difference between the political system of Western neoliberalism and the material relations that mean capitalism. But the thing is, it's not different, right? It's different if you see them as, capitalism. The definition of capitalism is this, and the definition of, say, our political system is this. They're not different when you understand that the way our modern world is structured is through European colonization over 600 years. So what the system we have today, the capitalist system we have today, and even the governing systems we have today, can be derived pretty directly from the type of world Europe was running when the word capitalism itself was invented. It was about extraction and exploitation of labor. We still have that. Even the governments, the way our governments work, it's highly tuned towards enabling those outcomes. So I think the problem is we look at capitalism as something that just came out of nowhere and now we're doing capitalism, but it's not. Like, it's derived from the capitalism, and the way of governing the world today is derived from European colonization and how they modeled the world, in particular after World War II. Today's world, you can't downplay what World War II did to Europe. But even before then, till today, these systems are derivatives of that.
But internet sleuths had spotted it and screenshotted it and circulated it on social media, and so it had to be re-released. So just days after that photo emerged in the Epstein files, Howard Lutnick appeared at a committee hearing where he was asked about his links to Epstein. He confirmed...
Yes, China isn't a liberal capitalist state. It's not liberal capitalism, yes.
He'd visited the island with his family. But apart from that meeting at the house in 2005, when they were neighbours, and the two visits after that, Lutnick was saying after that point, he had very little to do with Epstein. And this is when my whistleblower, Simon, discovers that wasn't the end of the story.
Okay, so February 2026, the massive trove of Epstein files have been released. How do you realize that you have a new lead on the story at this point?
Well, it was all a race because all the media outlets were trying to find things out. And I'm an investigations correspondent. So, of course, I spent inordinate amounts of time searching the US Department of Justice's Epstein library, which now had millions of documents on it. And then I saw my whistleblower's name, Andres, and I knew he'd spoken to the FBI. This was clearly a record of the time that he did. In fact, he had 2 times when he spoke to them, or maybe 3 in 2020 and 2021. And these showed him making allegations about Howard Lutnick and his closeness to Epstein and the royals.
Okay, so you find Simon Andrisch's name in the Epstein files. You reach out to him. What happened next?
I said, "You'd never guess what, you're in the Epstein files."
Yeah, you were the first person to tell me that I was in the Epstein files, which I was completely, I was just completely shocked about.
He was like stunned and took a while to take it in. And then started delving through the Epstein files himself.
Everyone was searching Lutnick. Howard Lutnick had a particular email which was HWL.
He knew, because he'd worked there, that senior people at BGC used their...
Hold on. HWL. Oh my goodness. Look at this. We can search for it.
initials on their emails. So he searched under HWL, Howard William Lutnick, and found material that no one else had found.
Wow. HWL. I'll search in all. Oh man, there's millions of files. I don't even know how to search all of this. Hold on. Let's do it this way. Howard Lutnick. Lutnick. I think that's how you spell it. Original clue. HWL. We want to find Howard Lutnick using his secret email address. Nickname or alias. Medium. Fine. Okay. HWL. No. Add node. Search and query. HWL. Let's check it out. Okay, hold on. Let's go here. HWL. Menchel. HWL. Already on board. What's this? Oh, this is random. This search is so good though. Like, look at it. It's finding like random text in between that. This search stuff that we've got is great, man. This search capability is incredible. Okay, not that. HWL.
And sent it to Congress.
Which I was completely, I was just completely shocked about.
He was like stunned and took a while to take it in. And then started delving through the Epstein files himself.
Everyone was searching Lutnick. Howard Lutnick had a particular email which was HWL.
He knew, because he'd worked there, that senior people at BGC used their initials on their emails. So he searched under HWL, Howard William Lutnick, and found material that no one else had found.
HWL at, maybe? What if we search for HWL at? No case material. What about at HWL, maybe? Ooh. Okay. Hmm. No. Can you use... No, not this search. Not yet. Not yet, anyway. Hold on. Let's try BCBG. BGCG, sorry. Ooh. What is? BGCG. Oh, CG. Bro, what? Oh, it's finding random fucking text strings again. No. Yeah, these are images that have just been decoded. What about at? New follower detected. Hold on. Let's try it with the quotations. HWL. It might be seeing at as a special character, which would suck. No. Okay, I need to figure this out. HWL. Hold on. But HWL, yeah. HWL at, let's try this here. Probably won't work. Department of Justice. Yes. Search for library. HWL. From HWL. Oh, this is just going to take forever, I think. I need to make the search better. They redacted the full. Oh. Here it is. This is the Lutnick. Yeah, this is the problem with stripping out text like this. Is you do end up getting like a mixed text. Hold on. Let's check this. What is it? 4 years. A lot of like Epstein's emails have these like confidential things. It's so shit, bro. Like it fucks up the whole format of it. But here they are. HWL. Wow. That guy was right.
And sent it to Congress. And that's what changed the game for him.
What did he find?
So there's several dimensions. One is that we already knew that there was evidence that what he'd said about not seeing Jeffrey Epstein after 2005, not being in the room with him, was at the very least misleading, because we saw the pictures of him on Jeffrey Epstein's island in 2012. That came out in February. But then emails emerged, spotted by our whistleblower, that showed that actually there was a message to Jeff from Howard setting up the meeting. And then subsequently it emerged that on the 28th of December 2012, an agreement with that date on it was drawn up for a company, an advertising technology company called Adfin. And investors in that company signed on the document were both Jeffrey Epstein and Howard Lutnick.
Okay, so just to be absolutely clear, Howard Lutnick says that he cuts off contact with Jeffrey Epstein in 2005. Subsequently, there is evidence that they are still in contact. How has he addressed and explained the fact that they are still in contact? It would appear whether or not they're having lunch on an island in the Caribbean or they're exchanging emails about a company called Adfin. Like, how does he justify all that?
Well, he's asked in Congress in May when he knew that Jeffrey Epstein was also an investor in this Adfin company. He said, not until this year, 2026. But this other email under HWL, which Simon Andrews discovered, shows he's discussing Adfin directly with Epstein in May 2018, which would appear to contradict its account. Here's the exact quotes in May 2018. Epstein asks, on another note, what do you think the prospects for Adfin are? Now, if Howard Lutnick had been unaware that Jeffrey Epstein was an investor in this company which he had also invested in, then wouldn't he have said, oh, Jeffrey, I didn't know you were also an investor in Adfin? But he doesn't say anything like that in this email exchange. He answers, producing revenue finally. This is their year. Next 12 months, they need to become economically self-sufficient. You see elsewhere in the files the chief executive of Adfin seeking meetings with both Lutnick and Epstein. Altogether, this evidence is one of the reasons why Democrats on the House Oversight Committee have accused Lutnick of lying and have been calling for his resignation. We should make it clear that Howard Lutnick has not been accused of any wrongdoing in connection with Epstein, and he told the House Oversight and Reform Committee, quotes, I unequivocally condemn the conduct attributed to Jeffrey Epstein and everyone who participated in his illegal activities. The survivors of his crimes deserve our respect and support. The White House, speaking on behalf of Lutnick, said, quotes, the BBC's pathetic and desperate attempt to slander Secretary Lutnick will do nothing to change the fact that he has been the most consequential Commerce Secretary in modern history.
But if their names were both on the same document to do with an investment in this company, Adfin, does that mean that they were together in the same place signing this document?
Not necessarily, but what you do know then is that they were discussing Adfin in 2018, 8 years before, as Lutnick claimed to Congress, he knew that Epstein was an investor. 10 years after Epstein was convicted of sex offences, and, let's see, 13 years after, according to Lutnick's account, he resolved with his wife never to be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
After unearthing the emails about this business relationship, Andy's whistleblower, Simon Andreesh, continued to dig through the Epstein files.
He started sending stuff to me, which kept on making my jaw hit the floor. He found a story that links Howard Lutnick and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor in a proposed business deal that in the background, Jeffrey Epstein was advising Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's advisors all about. Let me tell you more. Howard Lutnick was approached by a lawyer in London who had an idea for how Howard Lutnick might lend Andrew Mountbatten Windsor £1 million. And in exchange, they would enter a joint venture whereby Andrew would bring his contacts, so rich individuals, sovereign institutions, sovereign wealth funds, all those people he'd met on his travels, in his previous role as trade envoy and in his role as a royal as well. So he knew lots of people. We know he knew, for example, oligarchs in Kazakhstan. We know he knew lots of people in Eurasia. He knew people in Africa, wealthy individuals. You get to meet lots of rich, powerful people when you're on tour as a British royal. The deal was that, in Simon Andree's words, they would buy a prince for £1 million. There was a document setting out terms of the deal. And the idea was Andrew would bring clients with pots of money and then they'd put them into investment management and split the fees 50-50. But there was a little kink in the deal, which was that Andrew wouldn't be able to do business with anybody else. He'd have to bring all the business to Cantor Fitzgerald, Howard Lutnick's firm. So a man who's described by Andrew as his business brain, his name's David Stern, he describes Jeffrey Epstein as his mentor. He decided to ask Jeffrey Epstein about this deal that was being offered to Andrew that would bind him into exclusivity. Jeffrey Epstein says no exclusivity. The documents show that they held talks for 3 months about this deal, but the documents peter out in late 2013, early 2014. According to Cantor Fitzgerald, they never went into business with Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, but they don't deny that they did talk about it for 3 months. So it's a matter for speculation as to why it stopped. But we did email Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, inviting him to comment on the allegations, but we haven't heard back from him.
Bro, we emailed Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. What? There's no way he's answering emails right now, man.
Understand, Andy. Why do you think this Andrew detail is so important?
Well, because of what it says about Howard Lutnick wanting to do the deal with Andrew, lending him £1 million suggests why did Andrew need £1 million at that point? And it also sheds light on the continued contact, even if it was only indirect, between Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Epstein long after Andrew said he last saw him. He was still in touch with him indirectly through Andrew's business advisor, David Stern, who described Epstein as his mentor. And we see Epstein advising on a deal that Andrew's going to do with Howard Lutnick, now the US Commerce Secretary, to essentially buy a prince, in our whistleblower's words, for £1 million, and in exchange exploit Andrew's contacts. There are questions there which touch on issues about mixing up your public role and your desire to make money privately.
And the links between Andrew and Epstein persisting a couple of years after Andrew said he'd cut off all contact.
Yeah, so the last date he said that he'd seen Epstein was December 2010 and said he'd cut off all contact. We already knew 2011, some contact then. Now we see 2013 that Epstein is advising Andrew on a business deal.
What about Lutnick? Why would it matter if he misrepresented his relationship with Epstein?
It matters because he's supposed to tell the truth in public and to Congress, and it may sound old-fashioned, but presidential administrations are supposed to be honest with Congress and with the wider public. So that matters. It matters because it sheds light on the circles of wealth and power that surrounded Jeffrey Epstein. It sheds light on what happens to whistleblowers when they go up against a powerful, wealthy company, whether they're believed and whether they can find justice. And it also matters because of what it shows about the public debate about whether people were too close to Jeffrey Epstein and who those people were.
And what about Simon Andrish, the whistleblower? How's this all affected him? I mean, when you tell this story, it's difficult not to think of the contentious circumstances in which he left his employer, BGC, and how that all must weigh on him now.
It's had a devastating effect.
I had a mental health crisis. The trauma was so bad, dysregulation, activation, flashback, it was out of control.
He's lost his career. He's lost his health. He's had repeated heart episodes, and he says they've retaliated against him as recently as 2024. They would deny that, of course, and BGC would say this is an inherently unreliable source who's got an axe to grind. BGC says it terminated Simon's employment after he refused to follow medical advice, declined to perform essential job duties, rejected reasonable accommodations, and ultimately abandoned his role. That's what they say. But the truth is, anyone who's been in employment litigation has an axe to grind, both employee and employer. They both have narratives they prefer, and they would like the evidence to support their narrative. He got a whistleblower award in the United States. Action was taken. Fines were levied against BGC, and he was officially recognised as a whistleblower because they have strong laws that recognise people should be incentivised to blow the whistle on wrongdoing.
I went into a trauma crisis centre for 2 months and did a huge amount of work on myself and was able to get myself into trauma recovery.
He's lost his career on Wall Street, and he's struggling with debts from legal costs of this ongoing struggle he's had, and his physical and mental health has taken a real toll, which he's had to do lots of work going to trauma recovery centres, etc., to try to get better. He now feels he is, but whether or not this story tells you a good thing about trying to blow the whistle, you'll have to decide when you listen to it.
Thank you so much, Andy Verity, for sharing it all with us.
You're welcome.
That was Andy Verity.
This is like my biggest concern, guys. Like, I basically blew the whistle on my brother, you know? I basically blew the whistle to say, I don't think it's blowing the whistle, really. Like, I didn't know any internal workings. I just stated what had been done, and I stated my thoughts on it. And this is my biggest thing is the backlash. But I'm like, the one thing I know that I guess I have on my side is the fact that, like, these companies in Aotearoa are not speaking about the genocide at all. Like, they're not saying anything about it. They're not talking about genocide. They're not, like, there's only so much companies can go, like, we're not political and we don't speak about it, right? But then when you start dealing with politicians and, you know, bringing on politicians into the fold, like, how the hell can you call yourself non-political or apolitical? You know what I mean? Like, why are companies, people will tell you that companies aren't political, but they are. They're fundamentally political. Everything is political. Yeah. And my biggest thing is, like, companies always virtue signal about what do you call it? Pride Month. They'll talk about so many different, like, inclusivity things, which are fundamentally political things. The thing I'm asking for now, so I did my thing yesterday, but what I'm asking for now is, like, I'm not going to leave this, right? Like, I'm not just, like, doing this for one fucking message. I want to understand what these people are, you know, from a human rights perspective. Like, what are they prioritizing? So I wrote this about Air New Zealand's human rights past. Like, this is it. This is real. Air New Zealand hasn't learned its lesson. In 2021, Air New Zealand was forced to apologize after it was revealed that its engineering division had serviced engines for the Royal Saudi Navy during the Saudi-led war in Yemen. We all know about the war in Yemen. It was carnage, bro. It was a humanitarian disaster, genocidal in nature. The Saudi government bombed the crap out of like poor people. Now the airline is helping strengthen commercial relationships with Narendra Modi's government. This matters because Modi's government has deepened its strategic partnership with Israel throughout the Gaza war. India has expanded defense cooperation, maintained military trade, and developed closer political ties with Benjamin Netanyahu's government, while Israel faced widespread allegations of genocide and serious violations of international humanitarian law. My question isn't whether businesses should trade internationally. My question is this: where does Air New Zealand draw the ethical line? If it was acceptable to work with the Saudi military during Yemen, and it is now acceptable to publicly strengthen relationships around a government that has deepened military and strategic ties with Israel during the destruction of Gaza, what human rights standard is actually being applied? A national carrier should be accountable not only for its profits, but the values it chooses to legitimize. Right? I wrote this yesterday, and I have followed up twice today. And this is the second one. Air New Zealand, I'm following up on the questions in the post below. Could you let me know your usual response time for public questions about your human rights policies? I believe these are important questions and I look forward to your response. Like, how are companies in today's world justifying human rights? Like, do they have policy? Do they have like an ethics code? Do they even revisit it? Like, what the fuck is going on? How can they just partner and do business deals with people who are selling weapons to genocide? How is that happening? Shouldn't we be holding companies to account like this? Like, am I losing my fucking mind? It's so like, I just don't get how this is becoming a thing. You know, I just don't get how companies can just do this business, celebrate it, and just be like, yeah, we did it. We did this deal. Now we're making more money, or we're strengthening ties, or whatever the fuck. But do they ever have to address human rights violations? Like, what are those clauses there for? Man. Why aren't companies being questioned, guys? Why are we not questioning them? Why are we not making more noise about this? I just don't get it. Why are people not making more noise about the ethics around what's happening here? So many damn companies are supporting Israel and even their war crimes so blatantly, it's vile. I actually don't think there have been many. They try boycott Coca-Cola for investigating in Israel, and they could try boycott Air New Zealand, but the general public don't care. Yeah, but it's not about the general public, right? It's like these companies should be questioned to share their, like, they talk about ethics, they talk about, you know, they take positions on human rights when it comes to LGBTQIA plus or accessibility or whatever else. What about human rights? Like, we've been watching people cut to pieces every single day for 3 years now. For 3 years. And what? We can't even ask this fucking question? Guys, we need to be better at doing this. Like, I think these companies virtue signal all of the time about how great they are. Like, this is the time to ask companies, well, why aren't they being great now? You know, why are they making these sorts of decisions now? Why are they doing it when they know that these are human rights violations happening at such a massive degree? And it's not like the UN, two UN different independent UN commissions are calling this genocide, guys. At this stage, it's like just complete ignorance, right? They don't even want to know about it. They don't even want to know about it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to do anything about it. How the fuck can they just continue to be this way? People are just too fucking comfortable, I think. I think we've gotten way too comfortable, especially in the workplace. People are just too fucking scared to do anything. People are just too fucking scared to do anything about this. Man. Anyway, let's forget about people who are too scared to do this. I am doing this, okay? I want to know what Air New Zealand's policy is. I want to know. And here's what I'm going to do. So we've got Epstein happening. I'm going to create another case. I mean, this is what we have this for, right? This is what we have our platform for, is to investigate. I'm going to create another case now, and I'm going to start tracking not just Air New Zealand. I'm going to start tracking. I think we should track companies as well. Like, why are companies not giving a fuck about genocide? Man, I'm just, this is the most disheartening shit that this is the most disheartening shit. We've just gotten too comfortable, guys. We've just gotten too comfortable. It doesn't matter. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. Okay. Anyway. Hey, who should we raid, guys? Who should we raid? Let's raid out. Let's raid out, everybody. Who's going right now? You got a radio pillow. Nice. Yeah, we can rate Zach Chap. Cool. Well, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll keep it going. But thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah, Zach Chap's great. Enjoy Zach Chap's live stream. I will catch you all soon, okay? Stay safe. Kakite, pomarie, and I will catch you soon. Take care, everybody. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Enjoy the raid, everyone. Say hi to Zach Chap for me. Good night, everybody. Good night. Take care, not the one. I'll catch you all soon.